Yes. Anybody else? What are you anticipating from today's day one of Transcend Women's Summit? What are you looking forward to? I've seen Elevation. I've seen Elevate. Let me open up my chat in case it was something else. Elevation. Okay, I'm waiting for people to type.
Hmm. There is such a great lineup. I just can't think of anything other than elevation.
Transformation. I love that, Demi. Demilola, thank you so much. Yes, elevation, transformation. I love that. I'm looking forward to insights. You're right, a lot of great coaches, speakers
Hmm.
that will be speaking life to us.
Hmm.
I'm really looking forward to taking one thing away from the conference for sure. At least what's one thing that I can take away that I can actually put and apply it into my life.
Mm.
That's exciting to you. Anybody else? One word. So I think for those that have joined, thank you for joining. We're just asking around, throw it in the chat. What's one word, one thing that you're looking forward to from today's session? Transformation, elevation, inspiration. I can come up with different things here.
I think too, there's just celebration of the women, of the
Yes,
wisdom, of the life,
right.
the examples that will be shared, inspiration.
Thank you, Yemi. Inspiration.
Hmm.
Celebration is also a very good one as well.
Yeah, I love to say, I'm here to celebrate and elevate. Like,
I love that flow. Yes. Celebrate, elevate, inspire. There was another one that let me see if I can find it in the chat. Let's see, where did it go? Transformation as well too as well.
yes,
That's great. That's
transformation.
great. That's great. Okay. And if any, actually, what we could do right now, just so that we know where everyone's dialing in from, if you could quickly just put in the chat, and I'll actually put myself as well. Where are you dialing in from? Are you in the US? Are you outside of the US? We just want to say welcome, welcome for taking the time to be here. Brockton, Massachusetts, USA. Nice.
Yes,
Perfect. Thank you, Michelle. I am in Houston, Texas.
very nice. What is your weather like?
Oh, nice and warm.
Oh,
I will
I bet
tell you that.
we
Houston,
received
Texas.
about 30 inches of snow the other day.
Oh no, I am so sorry. Hopefully the snow passes very
It's
soon.
melting.
Okay,
It's
that's good.
melting.
That's good to hear.
So we have
Yemi,
Brockton, we have
welcome. Houston,
Houston.
Texas. Yes. So for those who are on the platform that don't know, Yemi is my husband. He's happy to be here. So I just want to give him special credit
Very
for
nice.
joining and supporting us here as well.
Nice, nice. Yeah, this is
All
so
right.
interesting, right? I mean, this is one thing that really, the pandemic really just opened up a world of
Mm,
connectivity. And
right.
it is so amazing that we can get to do things like this.
Absolutely. I think prior to COVID, it was more of we did not realize that there's so many resources out there that we can utilize. So it sparked a lot of ideas and
Mhm.
innovative ways for people to collaborate while staying indoors. And I think it just, from there, that just set the pace for
Yes.
these type of interactions. And the beautiful part is you get to connect with people across the globe versus within your state. So I love it. I
Mhm.
totally love it. All right. I think without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first speaker for tonight. So the first speaker for tonight, we have, before I pass it on to our administrative team to provide her bio, but I really just wanted to introduce Pastor Olaide Ajayi, and her title for today's session will be The Awakening When a Woman Rises with Vision. And some of the objectives that she will be speaking on is why God places vision inside of a woman, the generational ripple effect of a woman's clarity, also how vision shapes identity, legacy, and leadership. And lastly, women as the midwives of global transformation. So please sit back, relax. If you have some water for hydration, utilize it. And without further ado, here goes Pastor Olaide's biography here. We're unable to hear the audio, just in case it's playing. I do see the captions. If the audio's still not playing, it might just be a case of when sharing, might have to share audio as well. Yeah, we're unable to hear the audio.
Do remember to share sound because I always do that.
Identity and purpose. Pastor Olaide Tegbe Ajayi serves as co-pastor at RCCG Salvation Center Katy and is passionate about empowering individuals, especially women and third culture youth, to discover their God-given identity and purpose. With a unique background as a corporate geoscientist and an MBA in project management, she is turned a pastor and an entrepreneur, and she has founded the Beacon Pathways to help immigrant families and third culture youth transform identity confusion into confident, faith-rooted leadership. She is also the co-founder of OmniSoftTech, an AI and automation consultancy, and she brings over 15 years of pastoral ministry experience to her work. Our core message is that true influence flows from knowing who you are in Christ, and she equips people to lead with authenticity, intentionality, and excellence across multiple spheres of life. Please join me as we welcome Pastor Olaide Tegbe Ajayi.
Thank you for that wonderful bio. I want to say good evening, everybody, and I want to say a special thank you to Dr. Joy Adekunle, the convener of this wonderful, amazing conference, the Transcend Women's Summit. I'm so excited to be here, and it's such a joy to be in the house. It's such a joy to see all of us online. Thank you for the love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good to see so many wonderful faces and names that I recognize. And I'm really excited and to be the forerunner today, the John the Baptist, as they say, well, because I see the amazing lineup of speakers we have. And I was like, okay, thank God I'm the first person, so I can get mine out of the way and sit down and listen and absorb. So without a further ado, I've been given the topic, the awakening, when a woman arises with vision. And it's such an amazing topic. I was talking with Dr. Joy earlier this week, and I was just trying to get her heart for the summit, just to kind of see what really did you want us to really hone in on. And when she shared her heart, it was just exactly what I had in my notes, and I just knew that the Spirit of God is one and the same. So, like I said, we're going to talk about the awakening when a woman arises in vision. It reminded me of that message, that verse when it talks about I, Deborah, arose, a mother in Israel. God is waiting on so many of us to arise as Deborahs. God is waiting for so many of us to arise as Esther's. He's waiting for so many of us to arise as Miriam's, and to take our place in the kingdom. Because for so long, women have been relegated to the background. For so long, women have been told that we're not enough, we should keep quiet. But I believe that in this season, God is calling on his daughters. God is calling on each and every one of us to arise. So I'm going to start out with just a description of a woman. I said I'm describing a woman. She has a husband who adores her. She's provided for, she's chosen, she's preferred, she's loved. And by every measure, the people around her, can see that she's doing well. But you see that this same woman, she carried something that she couldn't explain, she couldn't shake, a longing that comfort couldn't cure. All the trappings and all the things that are provided, there's just a longing that is in her. There's a quiet incompleteness that no amount of love from the people around her could fill. Can we guess who I'm talking about? I'm talking about Hannah in the Bible. If you remember the story, I believe that most of us here are people of faith, and I'm talking about Hannah. Remember the story of Hannah in 1 Samuel 1, chapter 1 and chapter 2. And before I go any further, because I'm sure we're familiar with her story, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever had a moment where everything in your life looked fine, but you still felt that there was something missing? You're loved, people know you. They know you as that vibrant woman, that vibrant sister. They know, they see you as the go-to person. They see that, oh, you're doing well, you're climbing the corporate ladder, or you have a thriving business, and people say amazing things about you. But you yourself, inwardly, you know that there's something yet that you're yearning for. There's something that is still yet there. And I want you to know that that feeling is not a longing. It's not ingratitude. It's not that you're not grateful for what God has done. It's an incompleteness that is an invitation. It's an invitation to you from God. Because we find out that the most heartbreaking thing is not a woman who has tried and failed. It is a woman who has everything she needed to make impact, but she never did, or she didn't even know that she was supposed to make impact. It's a woman who has lived her life inside the borders of what other people have told her who she is. And I'm sure we're familiar with this. People tell you who you're supposed to be. They tell you what is best for you. They tell me that, oh, you should be like this. When we're growing up, because maybe when you talk so much, they'll say, oh, you have to be a lawyer. You should be a lawyer. Or if you were good with singing, oh, you should be a singer. If you were good with mathematics, you should be an engineer. People try to define who you should be. And we find out that so many women are so busy managing this life with all these layers of cultural context, these layers of experiential context, or even what they have gone through, and they never step into destiny. And I'm not saying this to condemn anybody in the room. I say it because I believe with everything in me that there are women here today who are one encounter away from an awakening. I want to tell you I want to speak to you and talk to you about what an awakening is like. I was that woman a few years ago, about maybe 10 or 15 years ago. And I I was in the corporate world. I was working for one of the oil servicing companies here. I was doing well. We were running our ministry, and things were good. I was active in church, leading children's department, being relevant in every point. But I just knew at a point in time, I just knew that I just didn't feel complete. I just felt that has to be something more. And not to knock those in, in the corporate environment, but I just looked at the corporate structure and I was like, I don't think that's where I want to go. And I was privileged to come to a meeting like this. I was privileged to come and hear somebody speak. And the minute I listened to that coach speak, there was a light bulb that sparked in my heart. And I was like, yes, this is what I've been looking for. And that set me on the journey of discovery. That set me on the journey of awakening. And I'm still even on that journey now. So it wasn't until I stopped defining myself by what I was managing and I started asking God what he was calling me towards. And that was when everything began to shift for me. So let's go back to Hannah. We remember the story of Hannah. Hannah had everything and nothing at the same time. She had love, she had provision, she had favor in her husband's eyes. He gave her double portion. But we find out that in that season, her worth was measured by what her womb could produce. And unfortunately, she was barren. Her womb was closed. And I know we have a lot of women who have experienced this or even are still experiencing this because you're defined by the fact that if you can give birth, if you can have a child. And we see that every year they made that trip to Shiloh to worship. And every year her rival, Peninnah, provoked her, reminded her that what she didn't have. And Hannah wept. She couldn't eat. She was always despondent. And even the love of her husband could not take away this burden and this sorrow that she had. And we found that her husband told her that, am I not better to you than 10 sons? And he actually meant it sincerely. And he even showed it practically. But Hannah knew that there was something he didn't know. There was something that he could not feel. And it wasn't the issue. The issue wasn't that she needed a son. The issue was that she hadn't discovered why she needed a son. But one year, when they went to Shiloh, and that something changed, and Hannah went into the temple. And at that time, she didn't just bring her tears as she would do every year. This time, she brought an emptiness as an offering to the Lord. And then she made a vow that nobody makes out of self-interest. She said, Lord, if you give me a son, I will give him back to you all the days of his life. And now think of that for a moment. She has not even had the son, but she decided that she was going to give him back to God all the days of his life. And so this was not a transaction, it was a transformation. There was a shift in her mindset. She began to realize that, look, I'm here looking at myself. I'm looking at what I need, but what does God need? So something happened in her spirit, even before she conceived in her womb. She caught a glimpse of something bigger than her pain. She saw that there was a nation that needed a leader. If we remember the story correctly, at that time, Eli was the priest. His sons were nothing to write home about. It was like Israel was without, they were like sheep without a shepherd. And she now saw that there was a generation. God needed somebody. And God immediately, she gave that offer. She found out that God wasn't withholding from her. He was actually waiting for her and waiting until she could carry the assignment with open hands instead of clenched fists. So she didn't just pray for a child. She offered herself as a vessel for God's purpose. And that was the moment that Hannah was awakened. So that is what vision does to a woman. It lifts her eyes off her lack and fixes them on a need that only she is positioned to meet. Hallelujah. So we find that after Eli prayed for her, she left Shiloh, her countenance changed, she was no longer sad. And even before she had the child, she knew that something had changed in the spiritual, even before it manifested in the natural. So she left differently. She left differently because she arrived differently. She had stopped negotiating her incompleteness and surrendered it to a purpose larger than herself. I want us to think on that. She stopped negotiating what she thought was making her incomplete. And then she surrendered it to God because there was a bigger purpose at stake. And what also strikes me, and it always gets me about Hannah's story, was that she was very deliberate. Even after she conceived and she had this boy, she was very deliberate about not returning to Shiloh until she was able to fulfill her vow. So she weaned Samuel, she brought him to the temple and left him there. This was a child that she had cried for, a child that she had nursed, a child that she had loved, but she kept her word to God. You know, who does that? I know those are so many of us are mothers here. Can you imagine living like a 3-year-old or 4-year-old with an old man that is half blind in a temple, you know, but she kept her word. And why was she able to do this? Even her husband, you want to think that, how did her husband even allow that? Because this was a long-awaited child that they were waiting for, but she gave him up because she had made her word. And how did she do that? Because she was no longer the same woman who came year after year and wept at the temple. She was a woman awakened to a God vision. So when a woman catches a vision that is bigger than herself, she finds strength that she didn't know she had. She finds a clarity that she cannot manufacture. She finds a courage that does not come from her personality. It comes from purpose. So Hannah's awakening wasn't about her becoming, Hannah's awakening wasn't about her becoming someone different. It was about her finally seeing what she was meant to carry. So I believe there's so many of us here that we need to see what we are meant to carry for the kingdom, what we are meant to carry for God. And I believe that is exactly where some of you are today. You know, some of us are today. It is a time where we need to be awakened. We're not broken, we're not disqualified, we're not too late. We're just awakened to the vision that God has been holding and waiting for you to stop asking him to fill your emptiness and start asking him, what is your emptiness supposed to carry? Remember the woman with Elijah. When Elijah asked her, was it Elisha that asked her, what do you have in your house? She said, I have but a little jar of oil. She didn't she didn't count what she had. But there are things that you are carrying that is an emptiness. There's a longing. If you feel that stirring, you feel that longing in you, it is because you are designed, you are meant to carry something. Hallelujah. So when we talk about vision, a lot of people think it's like, oh, it's like that woman who's on the stage, or somebody like me, oh, Pastor Laide, with the titles. It's somebody, who has this ministry all together. But no, that's not what Hannah's vision was like. She wasn't called to lead an army. She wasn't called to preach to thousands. She was called just to carry one child, a child of destiny. And she carried that child faithfully, intentionally, and with open hands. And it was that one act of obedience, giving that child to God, that changed the trajectory of a whole nation. Because if we know this, if we are students of the Bible, we know that Samuel was one of the greatest prophets, and at the tail end of his life, the Bible says that he was one of the greatest prophets of God that Israel had. So we see that vision is not loud. Vision is not loud. Vision is not loud. Vision is not always a large thing, but it is always intentional. It always extends beyond yourself. So some of you might already be living your vision. You just haven't recognized it as such because nobody gave you a stage for it. The woman who shows up consistently for people, that is vision. The one who remembers events, the one who calls, the one who checks up, the one who stays behind to clean and who cleans the table where people feel seen, the one who greets at the door. That is vision, And I want to share a personal story with you as I close. My mom passed in 2021, and when she passed, something happened that I wasn't really prepared for. People I hadn't spoken for in years began to reach out. People from different chapters of her life, different countries, different seasons, All of them had stories. Stories of a moment she sat with them, stories of a moment she helped them do something, a word she had spoken that changed their life, impact that she had made. And these were things that she had done. I'm sure she didn't even remember doing some of those things, but this impacted lives and they carried it for years. And they carried it so much. It was so pivotal to them that they reached out at that time. So she wasn't famous. She didn't have a large platform. My mom was one of the most quietest person you could ever, very unintentional, very humble, very unassuming. But she lived with intention. She touched people with purpose. She made people feel seen, significant, and remembered. And then even more recently, when my father celebrated his 80th birthday in December, just this last December, we had set up a place, a kudos board for people to send in birthday wishes. What came in wasn't just birthday greetings. It was also testimony upon testimonies of how his life marked theirs, how he had different things he has done. So that is what legacy is. That is what we should strive for. That is what a vision-driven life produces. It's not noise. It's not numbers, but it's an impact that will outlive you and make people refuse to let your memory go. Remember Dorcas. When Dorcas died, the women called Peter and showed them things that she had done and said, this woman must not die. This woman cannot die, because she had a mission. She had ministry. She was working among them. She was impacting them. And because of that, she came back to life. So my mom did not set out to be remembered. She only set out to be faithful. She set out to be present. She set out to pour into every person that God placed in her pathway. And the fruit of that faithfulness spoke louder at her funeral than anything else. That is what an awakened woman produced. So I would like to ask you today, as I round up, that you might not have it all figured out yet. You might not have a 5-year plan, but I just want to ask you 3 things. First, identity. Is there an area of your life, a gift, a burden, a longing that you might have been dismissing as too small, too ordinary, too personal? Name it. Don't talk yourself out of it. Second, evaluate. What would it look like to show up in that area with more intention? Not more noise, but with more purpose. Not with more activity, but more consistency and more faithfulness. And then the third thing is that commit, not to perfection, not to a big old grand launch. Yeah, there's a place for that, but just to commit to bring your emptiness before God, the way that Hannah did, not to have it filled for your comfort, but to ask him, what is it designed for? There is an emptiness in all of us. There is a God-shaped space in each and every one of us. And I believe because Hannah left Shiloh different, you also will leave this conference different. You would leave it different today and tomorrow. Not because of anything I've said, but because somewhere within the message and the messages you're going to hear, that you will hear that God has called you and he has been speaking something to you in you. And you have been waiting for permission to wake up. You are not too ordinary. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're not too comfortable. You're a woman with a womb. And I don't just mean a physical womb. I mean, you have the capacity to carry something, birth something, release something into the world that could change the trajectory of somebody's life. Maybe many lives. There are voices. I always tell my people in my church, I said, your voice, somebody is waiting for your voice. Your voice is unique. There's somebody that it's only your voice they will listen to. There's somebody that's only Dr. Joy they will listen to. There's somebody that's only Visionary Kende that they will listen to. And there's voices that it's only your voice they're listening. So they're waiting for you. And it will transcend generations. So the question is not whether God has a vision for you. The question is, are you ready to stop negotiating your incompleteness and surrender it to his purpose? It is time to awaken. Daughters of Zion, it is time to awaken. God bless you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Wow. Thank you so much, Pastor Laide, for those amazing words of fire, inspiration. What a good start to this Transcend Women's Conference. Can we just give Pastor Laide a round of applause, hearts, thank yous? Please blow up the chats and just acknowledge her for these powerful words of wisdom. I think one thing that I'm taking away from this is what is my emptiness that I'm supposed to carry? I love the storyline of Hannah. She just had one assignment. She wasn't a Esther who was a queen or a king. She was more of, she just had to carry that one child. As Pastor Lide said, a child of destiny. That's all. And even the part of vision is not loud, but it's intentional. Please, is there anything else? There's so many other things that I know Pastor Lydia has spitfires of wisdom to us. But quickly in the chat, what's a few sentences that you're taking away from everything she has shared? One thing that stood out to you, just quickly in the chats, I'll be reading the chats to see what people are saying. But Pastor Lydia, thank you so much for these. It's on time. We needed to hear this. What a great start. I see Dr. Joy says it's not about me, it's about the need in the world. Wow. Anybody else? I think something I also picked up is, I see something from Miss Michelle as well. The calling through you to change the trajectory. It's not about you at the end of the day. And also, when a woman catches a vision, she finds the strength to execute that vision. These are powerful. Pastor Lade, thank you again so much. Another one that came in, let me quickly read it as well. Vision should outlive me and fill people with memories of me. Perfect example that Pastor Lade gave about her mom and, the testimonies that came through. So a life of impact is what we should aspire to have and not be a passerby on this earth. So, Pastor Lydia, once again, I just want to say a huge thank you. Thank you so much for starting us off with some fire. We needed it. We really, really needed it. All right. Without any further ado, let's move on to the next speaker for tonight. And the next speaker for tonight will be Coach Oluwaseifumi Adebisi. So she will be walking us through a vision mapping workshop. Is anybody ready for this? Please, drum rolls, thumbs up, hearts, likes. If you're not ready, please, I see the hands. Yes, that's what we need. If you people don't do it, we will not start this one. Sorry, my Nigerian accent has to come out. But yes, I'm super excited. So before we move into the introductions, she's going to walk us, through. She's just going to guide, everyone on this platform. And I think the goal of this is it will serve as a bridge between inspiration and implementation to help women and the men here to clarify their direction, their priorities, and the next steps. So let's go into Coach Oluwaseifumi. I'm so sorry if I butchered it. I apologize. But let's go into Coach Adebisi's bio.
Oluwaseifumi Adebisi is a strategic equiper, a leadership and transformation coach, a learning strategist, and an education innovator dedicated to unlocking human potential and driving meaningful impact. With over 15 years of experience in learning and development, coaching, instructional design, and organization strategy, she partners with individuals and institutions to strengthen leadership capacity, close learning gaps, and accelerate sustainable growth. She is a certified life and leadership coach with Maxwell Leadership, an ISC Masteries practitioner, an NLP practitioner, and a member of the Association for Talent Development. She holds an MBA and a senior HR credentials, and she has a certificate in women's entrepreneurship from Cornell University and a business analytics nano degree from Udacity. She blends strategy, analytics, and human-centered transformation to deliver high-impact results. Oluwaseifumi is a founder of Marigold Global Foundation, an education-focused non-profit advancing STEAM, leadership, and future-ready skills for underserved youth across Africa and the United States. Please join me as we welcome Oluwaseifumi Adebisi.
Hello.
Lady Kende, it's good to see you. Lady Michelle, it's good to see you. Lady Lady, it's just good to see everyone. I mean, I feel like calling everybody's name. It's good to see you. Thank you so much, Lady Joy. Thank you for inviting me. It's my pleasure to be here this evening. It's evening my time, so please pardon me. I know it's everybody across the world. We're in different time zones, so it's evening my time. Thank you so much for having me today, and congratulations, Lady Joy, for the cohort that's graduating. I really do congratulate you because I can imagine the amount of work that you have put in and also into this conference as well. So thank you so much. Without further ado, that was a nice bio you have of me. I was like, is that me? Are you sure? But that was a nice one. Thank you so much. Can you see my screen, please? And is my voice audible? It's good. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so today I will be talking about vision mapping. And Lady Lady, you have done the heavy lifting for me. That's what I must say. You have done the heavy lifting to like you have prepared a ground for my conversation. Like, okay, so when it's because I was like, okay, I need to talk about vision and all of that, but you have done the heavy lifting. So I'm just going to write on what you have done and then push it up from there. So let's just go into it. I wanted to share some quotes to just stir us up on this conversation of vision. And this is from Andy Starling that says that everybody ends up somewhere in life. If you people end up somewhere on purpose, those are the ones with vision. It's the people that have vision that ends up somewhere where they want to. We will all end up somewhere. However, we have to be intentional about where you want to end up, which is the vision. So when the lady was saying it, she said you have to be. So vision is not loud, but it's intentional. It's intentional. There has to be intentionality of where you want to head. You will end up somewhere. Everybody will. But deciding consciously where you want to end it's a responsibility that is upon us as women, right? It's our responsibility, and we have to find that vision and work towards it. The next one says that without vision, the soul has no hope, imagination has no outlet, and innovation has no future. I'm going to piggyback on the story of Anna, the way Lady Lady taught us, because I just loved it. Anna, after she prayed and she caught that vision, her stance was different. Our posture she was no longer the crying woman. She was now a woman on assignment. There is now imagination. She's now like, okay, there is something I am living for. To raise this son that the Lord wanted. That is hope. There is now imagination. How do I preserve this boy? How do I make sure that I impute so much in this boy in these 3 years that he will be with me before I go drop the child? That imagination and those innovation come in place when there is no vision. That's why when the Bible said that where there is no vision, the people perish, because the potential in your life will only come out when you are in vision. Like, for man to become man, for you to become who you are meant to be, you have to be working in vision, because that is what will draw out the essence of you, right? So I hope because see, I'm picking back on what Lady did. I just wanted to like, okay. So what I'm bringing here and from what Lady has shared is that vision is a clear conception of what is not yet a reality, but can exist, and a strong image of a preferred future. Let's go back to the Anna story. So there is a Samuel that needed to come on stage. It does not currently exist, but it is needed because God already knew that Eli's children were not going to do the right thing, and he needed to raise another priest upon Israel. Right. So God had that vision in his mind. It's not currently existing, but it needs to exist. And that is a preferred future. It is a preferred future. So in your life, what is God saying to you right now? What is the preferred future he is asking you to see? Because you need to catch that vision. You need to catch that vision at his feet. At his feet. You need to catch that vision. It's a future. It does not currently exist, but it's in the womb of the spirit that needs to be born. Are you positioning yourself to catch that vision? That's not my session. This is all preambles, right? So now, why does this vision matter? It matters because the vision is about God, it's not about you. And because you were created for that vision, that's the reason. So when God was like, okay, I like you, I like you, but there's this thing that I needed to get done on earth at the particular time. That's why I'm creating you. So when he now starts to talk to you about it, you now will not say, no, I don't want to do it. No, that was why you were created. So it's about God, it's not about you. And it's about an intervention in humanity. I have my postulation about purpose is the fact that God did not create everything that needed to be created. So he was like, so you know what? I'm just not going to do everything. I'm going to create someone who is like me. I'm going to create a collective of who are like me. And then when I want to get this thing done, I'll just tell one of them to do it for me. That's it. That's why we were created. Right? That's my postulation on purpose. So when the need becomes, because God has seen that that need will be someday. Some people are going to need it someday. He created you that, okay, so at the right time, I'm just going to tell you, and then you do the work because you were created in my image and likeness. So vision is about God. And vision is unselfish. It's not about you. It's about building humanity. Imagine if Samuel did not come. Who would have anointed David? Who would have, in that period where Saul was not doing the right thing, who would have remained priest over Israel if Samuel had not come? So you see that God had this whole thing all mapped out, and he still does, right? So it's about building up humanity. So he's unselfish. It's not just about you. But the thing with vision is, as you set out to do it, it grows you. That's the thing. You cannot invest in the vision and you do not reap from it. It's not possible. It doesn't work that way. You become you, the true essence of you when you work on a vision. Like the next one says, it's a growth mechanism, right? That's how you grow. That's how you become a better and higher version of yourself. That's actually how you become more like Jesus, actually, when you start to work on this vision, because that you can't do it without him. And it creates endurance in you, right? It forges the fruit of the spirit in its true form. It forges it in you. That's what vision does for you. Now, the power of vision, I'll just quickly run through this. It defines you. Vision defines you. It defines your identity. It refines you, right? It confines you and it prescribes your way of life for you. Right. So that's what vision will do to you as an individual. It will define you. So you would know that there are things I can and I cannot do. You will know your lane. It will refine you, because if you are used to sleeping till 7 o'clock, you start to wake up at 3 o'clock because vision is calling you. You start with, when you are sleeping, you know that today is not the day for sleep, kind of thing. It also confines you because you will not be everywhere, right? You will not be everywhere. And it prescribes a life, a direction for your life, for you. So let's go into this vision mapping framework. Okay, so just so everybody knows, I'm a mom and my son just came into my office.
Hello.
You see? He even says hello. I'll fix it.
That's
Please
why I
do.
told you to give me help.
I'm so sorry. Please give me a moment. Um, he actually did tell me to do this thing before I came in here. I just forgot. Okay, so let me now go into my session fully. And this is the vision mapping framework. It's focused on what now. Now I have the vision. What next? Right now. What now? So this is a 5-part process for your vision mapping. And the first one is significance. You need to be clear on why does this vision matter? So the significance of your vision matters. So when you start to see the picture, you need to sit down with God and say, why does this vision matter? Why am I on this journey? Because you identifying, you clarifying why you are doing this thing matters a lot in the long run, in the process, in what you do. So the first thing is, why does this matter? And you have to write it down. So some of the questions you'll be asking is, you need to define the human impact of this thing, of this vision. What impact will it have on people? You need to articulate the long-term generational outcome for it. It's your responsibility to. You can't just look at, so because as you go on this life of vision, it is not just about you. Right. It's not about you. It's about generational. And you have to think generational so that you can build something that is lasting. Right. So that you can build something that is lasting. So you need to articulate the long-term generational outcome and clarify what must change because this vision exists. So a lot of the time we're like, okay, let me just do this thing. No, 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 it's not about that. It is what will happen, what salt, what salt, let me use that. Like, if my vision does not exist, what problem is there? And now that my vision exists, what is the problem that would no longer be? Because when salt is not in a food, we know. So when salt comes into a food, we have to know. So what is the salt value of your vision? You need to clarify that. That is your significance question. So the first thing you have to do as you map out this vision is to be clear on the significance of this vision. That's the first thing. The next thing you need to do is the scope of this vision. To say that what exactly are we building and what are we not building? It's funny because we tend to look at, oh, this is what we're building, this is what are you not building? Because this has to be documented as you walk through the vision. And this is the part where where the Bible was saying you would write it down. So you see the picture, but you need to write it down. You need to clarify it. What is the scope of this project? What is the scope of this vision? What are we going to do? What are we not going to do? What are we going to do? What are we not going to do? And you need to determine the 1 to 3 outcome over the next 12 months that you need to do in this for this vision. So there's a joy that comes with vision. Like when you're just receiving, you just be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. No, beyond the oh my God, what are you going to do in the next 12 months about it? Because for every vision, there's a skill to it. There's something you can do today about your vision. There is one thing you can do today about your vision. So as you start to execute on the vision that you have, you need to identify what is the 1 to 3 outcomes over the next 12 months that you will be achieving with this vision. And you must establish measurable indicators of progress. What would you see in your vision that will tell you that you're moving forward? If you have not gotten to those outcomes, what would you see that will tell you that we are moving in the direction of the vision? Because sometimes outcome takes a longer time to manifest, right? Outcome takes longer time, but what is the indicator of progress on your part of vision? You need to determine that, right? And you need to explicitly state what you will not pursue. So one of the things that burn out visionaries is the fact that there's so much, I mean, we are multi-potentialized, right? There's so much ideas in your head. There's so many things you can do. But because you can do so many things does not mean you should do so many things. Else you will burn out. So you also need to state that, okay, this is, even if I have 10 ideas on how I can execute this vision in the next 12 months, I will only stick to 2. And these other ones, I am not going to do it now. You need to be clear, because when people start to come into your vision, they will bring ideas and then you can say, oh, this is not what we're doing. This is what we're not doing, right? So also it has to be clear to avoid burnout. And you have to align resources only to what moves you towards the defined outcome. So you see why when you define that outcome, right, you need to then align your resources to it. Do you have the resources for it? If you do not, where are you going to find the resources for it? Right? If you do not, where are you going to? And there has to just be that alignment so that you're not running in different directions when it comes to your vision, right? That alignment of resources has to be in place. So that's the second thing on the vision mapping framework. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Oh no, that was fast. Okay. The next one is strategy. The next one is strategy. Now you know where you are going to. You have defined your scope. You know what you're going to do. How do you get there? So how do you move from concept to measurable progress? A lot of the time, this is where people are stuck. To say that, okay, so now how? Right? So you have to break those 3 outcomes into quarterly priorities. Those 3 outcomes, you break it into quarterly priorities and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And you start as a visionary, you have to begin with the end in mind. You have the vision, which is the end. Now you have to go back to the beginning. And that's a strategy. You have to sit down with it and say, okay, so how am I going to do this? Who am I going to work with? Let me give you an example of my work in Marigold. So in Marigold, we work with, okay, so I wanted to do STEM education, right, in underserved communities in Africa. Fine, that's what I want to do. So I asked myself, I don't live in Africa anymore. How am I going to do this? And I could start to say, okay, well, I have been with organizations where we have a team in Nigeria, they are the ones running in and around and all of that. I looked at my life, I looked at all the things I do. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. This is what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to partner with the people that have the boots on ground, that are already doing something on ground, that have their teams on ground. I will just plug in my own system into their system. And quarterly, I make sure that, okay, we have at least one partnership execution every quarter. Right? So it is that. So as I go into new quarters, I will start to look at, okay, so who is our new partner? What are we going to do in this quarter? And that's how Marigold is able to achieve its own objectives. Right. So moving into that progress. So the whole process of partnership, they bring in their programs. I look at it, we vet it. Okay, what do we need? Go over meetings to the budget, the outcomes, and they do the big lifting. I do the other part of the work. Right. So that strategy is important. What is the strategy your vision is running on? What is the strategy your vision is running on? And you also have to design repeatable systems instead of heroic effort. So there has to be systems, especially because we are building institutions, right? Your vision is not a sustainable entrepreneurship system. As in sustenance, no, not sustainable, sustenance entrepreneurship system where, okay, I'll make money from it, I'll be able to feel, no, that's not what we are doing, right? We are building institutions. So you have to design systems, you have to, things that will, and because there's something with vision, as you do, God sees that you are capable of more. It begins to give you more. If you do not create systems, you are not giving yourself an opportunity to be more. You are locking yourself in. Right. So designing repeatable system instead of a heroic effort. Don't just be doing, no, we are doing it now. Yeah, you have done it. There has to be a system around what you're working on, and then identify leading indicators that signals progress early. I said it before and I'll say it again. What are you seeing in your vision that is telling you that you're moving towards it? What is your evaluation system? How do you evaluate what you're doing in your vision on a monthly basis? On a monthly basis, you can not quarterly now, on a monthly basis, how are you moving towards your vision? I was listening to a lady and she was like, across all our expressions. She makes sure that every week she's doing something across all our expression every week. So when our to-do list is expression based, and it's like, yeah, because as a visionary, that's how it is. Your to-do list has to be expression based so that you can say, okay, this week, this is what we did on this. This is what I did in this area. So you must have that indicators and you must track those indicators on a monthly basis. Anticipate constraints and build contingencies. This is the part that we all are learning. We're learning. We expect that everything will go well. And I think with knowledge of project management now, we know that things don't go the way we want them to go. So allow some margins in your plans. Allow margin in your plan. Allow margin. Anticipate that everything that will, there's a law, I can't remember the name of the law now, that says that anything that would go wrong will go wrong. So things are designed to go wrong. However, because you have put margin in your plan, in your systems, you can anticipate that those things could go wrong and the margin will always cover for it so that you do not break down in the process. That was strategy. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is structure. Structure. Who carries what? Responsibility, authority, and support. Right. In your work as a visionary, if you truly want to execute and you want to execute well, right, your delegation game has to be on point. And delegation works where there is clarity. Right. Clarity of task, clarity of responsibility, clarity of authority, and clarity of support. So you have to define ownership for every outcome. Every outcome you want, there has to be someone that is responsible for it. And the person is aware they are responsible for it. You have to clarify who decides, who executes, and who advise. So for instance, if you have a nonprofit and you have an advisory board, they must know their role. So when you say, oh, come and be on my board, yes, you're on the board, and this is what you're supposed to do on the board, right? This is a responsibility for you, right? Who decide what gets done? Does everything have to stop by you, right? If you're starting out in your vision and you have an EA, does your EA know what they are supposed to do? Or they are waiting for you every morning to say, Madam, where should I go? Right? So there has to be clarity on what responsibilities who is carrying what. Also, you have to establish financial and operational oversight. Please do not treat this vision as a one-man business. Because when you do that, you're limiting the capability of your vision for expansion, for growth, and even for the blessings of the Lord to come into it. You are limiting the capability. So establish financial and operational oversight. I think women now get it. We are saying it more. Separate your business finances, your vision finances from your personal finances. They are not the same. Separate it, please, from the get-go. Separate it from the get-go and operational oversight and build support system that stabilizes growth. So at home, people should know, especially, at home, your spouse, your children should know what you're working on. And you should also define the kind of support you want from them and let them know. Communication is key. Be clear. This is what I want from you. This is what we'll be doing. This is what I'm working on. This is what I want from you, right? That as a support system. If you have friends that are coming on board, if you have a board of advisor that is coming, anybody that's coming on your vision must know what they're expected of, what is expected of them, right? And seek their consent that they will deliver on what is expected of them so that they don't stress you out, right? Seek their consent and all of that. So build support system that stabilizes growth in your vision. And lastly, your season. When and in what context should this advance? So I said 12 months period. In those 12 months period, when exactly will you be deploying this vision? When exactly would you be deploying this vision? Diagnose your through stage of organizational development. Where are you on that? Are you just starting out? Are you more advanced? Are you scaling? Are you building? Are you just launching something? Know where you are and build that stage properly. Align ambition with capacity. Because you see the end does not mean you are at the end already. Start where you are with room for growth. If you overstretch yourself, you might be setting up the vision for failure. Know where you are, build where you are, and grow from where you are. In fact, it's best you grow from where you are. It's best you grow from where you are, take feedback from where you are, and use it to build bigger. Right. If you do not align ambition with capacity, you'll be stretching yourself towards burnout and failure. Yeah, you'll be stretching yourself towards burnout and failure. Adjust intensity based on timeline realities. You need to know. So, for instance, if you're working, okay. So let me give you the insight, and I'll give you an example. If you're working with secondary school students, high school students, you cannot be scheduling your program around the time when they have state exams. I was partnering with someone in Nigeria on a project, and then I was like, okay, let's do this. And the organization came back to say, Shefumi, we can't do this right now. The kids that are supposed to be on this project are preparing for their JAM exams. So if we take them, which is more important, their JAM exams or their STEAM medication? And it's like, oh, okay, so we have to postpone to when after their JAM exams. So you have to adjust your vision into a period where you can give yourself fully to it. And after you give yourself fully to it, protect your rest. My mentor and coach will say that you have period of high execution and period where you come in and rest. So if you do not rest, you will burn out and you will not be able to do the project again. That's the bad part. Right? If you do not rest, if you do not protect your rest, you will not be able to do the project in the next cycle. So you have to rest so that you can come back again and get the work done and consolidate when required. That was the framework of vision mapping. So I hope I've provided you like a base level of what you need to do step by step to move your vision from just an idea in your mind to executing. So, any questions for me? Any questions? I like to take questions like, okay, sorry, I'm not a typical speaker. I do trainings more. So I'm always, in fact, as I was teaching, I was like, I should slow down so that people can ask questions by slide. I was like, okay, I'll just take it at the end. Are there any questions? Let me look at the little chart.
I have a question.
Sure.
I love the framework. How do you, right? I love the alignment of ambition and clarity and
Yeah.
capacity, and also leaning on resources, leaning on other people to help you. I have once was a woman. I said, "Oh, I'm Wonder Woman. I can do it all." Right. And what are some warning signs that you have heard from clients where you know they're heading toward burnout,
Mhm.
but they don't see it and they're trying to push through?
So the first warning sign from burnout is lack of flow. The idea just, it becomes a burden to work on the project rather than you working from flow. And flow is that state where ideas are coming, you're able to document it, and then you're able to execute, right? And so in my work with women, when we have our sessions like maybe twice a month, and then we at the end of my coaching session, we have talked about this is what you're supposed to deliver and all of that. I check in with you in 1 week to say how is it going, and you're like then they come into my session next week and I'm like, what happened? And they're like, it's just not coming together. And I'm like, okay, why do you think it's not coming together? So by the time I start to uncover with questions, they're able to see that, okay, there's something wrong. And it's always a case of I think it's all of us that comes into that place of we are superwomen. It's all of us. We feel as in when the vision comes, be like, no, I can't do it. I will conquer the world. Then when you go through the framework and you put this thing on an Excel sheet, you realize that you cannot conquer the world by yourself. Right? So the first sign is that there is no flow, and then the oil of execution will not move. The oil of execution will not move. And so when they come back into that session and then say, okay, these things that it's here, looking at your life, looking at your time, looking at all the other things, because you see, it's something about us as women, we carry a lot. We are working. There's this vision. There's a child somewhere. There's a parent somewhere. There's a sibling somewhere. There's a friend somewhere that needs our attention. But we do not, because these things are just everywhere, we do not bring it in to say that there's a whole lot on my table. And so when we then come into that session and say, okay, so how well have you rested? How well have you slept? As in, have you had that sleep? You know, you need to have that sleep once a week where you wake up and be like, where am I? You need it, right? So when I ask, like, have you had your where am I sleep? Saying, no, you have not. Okay. They say, how well have you sat in at the feet of the Lord in this way? And be like, I've just been doing, I said, we now necessarily like, okay. So can we prioritize that? Because those are the things that give you leverage. I was speaking to someone this evening. I said, there's a work you do after rest that the speed at which you get it done, that's where you want to work from, right? And then there are things that you're not very good at that you could give out to other people to get done for you that would oil the engine of execution. So once we then come back into the sessions, but in most cases, I allow you to do it because if I provide you the answer before you identify it, you always be like, oh, you're coach now. But when you go through that process, then we'll come in and strategize for it. I hope I answered your question.
You did. Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, I think we do not have any more questions. I hope my session was good. I hope you learned something, and I hope I provided you tools to be able to execute this vision. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you so much, Coach Fumi. Please, everyone, a round of applause for her. The insights in this workshop had been tremendously helpful. I think one thing that I took from this is, surprisingly for me, rest. I'm always a go, 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 but the importance of rest, because when you have that, and I like, Coach Fumi, what you said about the part where, like, once you're getting into the point where you're stuck in terms of your vision, the oil is not flowing. You know that you have to go back to the source. And we all know the source is God at the end of the day. So, Coach Fumi, thank you so much for those insights. I think this was really helpful. I saw the chats blowing up with a lot of people adding their comments there. So thank you everyone that has been commenting there. I think there were a lot of insights that were taken away from this session too as well. Thank you so much for that. All right. And I think what we'll do, we have the next session coming up. So we have our next speaker, Coach Pelumi Adewi, and she will be speaking to us on, the title is The Power of a Woman's Vision. Our goal for this session will be to awaken awaken women to the power, women and the men on the platform, right? Awaken them to the power of God's birth vision on them, and in terms of how to clarify their vision anchors, identity, fuel resilience, and enable women and the men to lead with conviction and courage in a changing world. So without further ado, I will pass it on so we can have a quick bio of Coach Pelumi.
Oluwapelumi Adewuyi is a certified life purpose coach dedicated to helping leaders in the workplace lead from purpose, integrating life's purpose into their leadership roles to create lasting fulfillment and meaningful impact. She does this through my signature framework, the Wheel of Purpose, which she designed to help leaders identify their current phase of purpose and pivot into a higher level of purpose integration in leadership. Beyond her professional work, she is passionate about empowering women and young people to step into their God-given assignment. She is the founder of the Elect Lady Initiative International, a non-profit dedicated to raising and building women for kingdom assignments, and the host of the annual Elect Ladies Conference. Her coaching company, the Explore Network, serves as the hub for all her coaching activities, including Purpose Coaching Retreat and the Purpose Bootcamp, where she guides individuals through purpose discovery, execution, and integration. As a speaker, an author, and a conference host and leadership coach, her work is dedicated to helping individuals and organizations move beyond success into significance. Please join me as we welcome Oluwapelumi Adewuyi.
Hello, good morning from this side of the world. Can you hear me, please?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you very much. Good morning or good evening at your end, and good morning from this end. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Dr. Joy, for this incredible opportunity to speak here at this wonderful Women's Summit. I'm very excited to be here, and I was listening to Coach Sheifumi before just some moments ago, and I really want to celebrate you for a wonderful session, even though I wasn't there from the beginning. But yes, it was a really good one. And the word unrest is, we can't emphasize it enough, honestly. Thank you so much. I want to celebrate all the other speakers that are also together with us. We are doing this together this weekend. I celebrate all of you and all of the work that you're doing in your respective spaces. And thank you to the Transcend Coaching and Consulting, Dr. Joy. Thank you again. And I know that this will be a summit that we will all not forget, one that will pivot us from just knowing what we want to do to actually doing them. And like it was said at the beginning, I'm here to just to remind you of something that you already know, and to sort of awaken something on the inside of you. And I believe that that's this topic given to me, the power of a woman's vision, is a very how do I say it now? Is a very heavy topic. I see it as a heavy topic, as something that if you understand it, I believe you'll be unstoppable. I believe you'll be unstoppable. So without further ado, I would share my screen if I'm permitted to share my screen. I'll be doing that very quickly, and then we can get right into it. It's not going to be very long, I hope so. But in the very short time, I'm sure that it's going to be very valuable for you today. All right, please confirm to me that you can see my screen. Kindly confirm to me that you can see my screen. I need to know.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. So, the power of a woman's vision, and my job today is to let you see clarity, is to awaken your conviction, and to pump a little bit of courage into you to know that you are born for this. You can do this, right? I'm so excited, like I said, and I want to welcome you again. Um,
we need to understand, first of all, that when we're talking about vision, we're not necessarily talking about success. And I'm going to explain it. Success, a lot of people, a lot of women are successful, at least from the outside, from what we see. We see success, we see, we see that everything is going well for them. We see that they are doing very well. But it doesn't mean that they are visionary. You can be successful in something that is not even visionary for you, that is not aligned to your vision. You just need to apply the principles of doing it well, right? So if you do it well, you get the result. Do you understand me? But what we want to do here is to make sure that whatever you are planning to do, whatever you're committing to do, that it is actually born from the place of vision, so that you're not successful in the wrong thing. Are we together? So, I'm trying to move my slides. Okay, please move. Okay. Not every successful woman is visionary. You can be busy, but it does not mean you're visionary. You can be visible, meaning that you could have influence. You could have a lot of following on social media, for example. You could have, people could know, many people could know you, but it doesn't mean that you're aligned to your original vision. And you can be loud, but not anchored, meaning that there are many people doing podcasts now, you can set the ring light, you can put the mic. It doesn't mean you're anchored on the thing that you are doing. And that is what we are here for, to make sure that there is alignment in your vision. There is alignment to your vision and with your vision. Before you can even carry out or do anything, you have to be one with the vision. One of my teachers will say that vision is seen twice, first in the mind and then in reality. If you have not seen it, if you have not caught it, if you are not yet one with it in your mind, you cannot become that vision. You cannot bring it into reality. And so you find yourself being successful and the things that are not aligned to your vision. You find yourself being loud for the things that you don't have any business with. You could be known for the wrong thing. People go viral and popular for the wrong things. And that should not be you. I believe that is not any one of us here. So many women are busy. Many are even accomplished in court. So if we're looking at their bank accounts, the kind of influence they have, the kind of position they hold, yes, because people hold positions, they hold titles, and it doesn't mean they're visionary. It doesn't mean that they're living a life of vision. Yes, it could just be something falling in place. It's just like, let's run it, let's see how it goes. They're just, playing with luck, playing on luck, and they say, that thing looks good, let's do it. But doesn't mean they're visionary. So you need to understand that you can have performance without vision. And that's what I want to establish here. You don't want to have performance without vision. That should not be you. You should not have influence without direction, because you will misuse the influence. We have, I was watching a video, a reel on IG, was it yesterday? And somebody was analyzing, oh, I think it was Pastor Dami Oluwatoyinbo, and it was giving an example of two young people in our generation currently who have a really large following of at least 10 million combined of young people, which means they have influence over those people. But if you look at what these guys say, these two people, their words. In fact, he played a short clip of both of them on a podcast, and I'm like, I couldn't even get anything out of it. And he then paused to say that these people, with the way you think they don't have anything saying like this, they have influence over at least 10 million people. And you're like, even you that you're putting in the grind, you're putting in the work, you're doing all of those things, you don't have that kind of influence. So if you have influence without vision, it's going to be misused. You're going to be transferring the wrong things. And your voice is not going to be with clarity. You're going to be trying everything to make sure you stay relevant. You're going to be trying everything so that you stay in the spotlight. So it doesn't matter whether it is aligned. You do it. If it's dancing that is happening today, you do it. If it's silhouettes that they are doing today, you do it. If it's coaching that is common now, you do it. If it's conference, you do it. You will just do everything just because you want to stay relevant. So Your voice can be loud, but it won't be with clarity. People won't know exactly what you're there for. You just, people will just be clowning and, faffing around, and that is not what you want to be, or who you want to be as a woman. So vision is not about seeing far, it's about seeing clearly. It is not just about seeing far. It's about what? Seeing clearly. You want to see clearly. You want to see clearly. Are we together? Are we still together? Are you getting something from this? Okay, let's move on very quickly. Now, what is vision? What is vision? And I know that Coach Olua shared for me. I wasn't here at the beginning, but I'm sure she gave a bit of definition to vision as well. But let me just define it. Vision is a revealed future, meaning that it's already existing. Whatever whatever you catch is already in existence. It's not just manifested yet. So the one you catch out of the existence, or the one you catch in time, is vision. In fact, I have this thing I call the flow of purpose. The flow of, is that what I call it now? Now, everyone has a purpose. From my bio, I'm very big on purpose, right? So purpose is the very big picture of what God has written concerning you. It is the whole reason why you are born. Apart from us, the general purpose of everybody worshiping God, there is bringing glory to God, bringing sons to God, reconciling men to God. That's a general purpose. Everybody has that assignment. But there is a unique and a specific purpose to you. And your own work is to search it out. Now, there is a flow of purpose. There's the flow of that purpose. Now, purpose is the big picture, but you cannot understand everything about your purpose at once. God cannot reveal everything about your purpose to you at once. Why? Because you can't contain it. Our minds are too small to understand everything about our purpose in a time. What God does is that per season, based on our level of growth, we catch the picture, a fragment of purpose. That thing that you catch is vision. Do you understand it? That thing that you catch is vision. That is why vision evolves. That's why you see something today, and then in the next 6 months, God is showing you another thing. In the next 12 months, God is showing you another thing. It is not because you have changed. It is because your mind has grown, your capacity has grown, and God now sees that you can take the next level, and then He drops it. So if you are stuck at the level of vision, it means you're not growing. Because God is a father. He will not give you what you cannot take. He will rather keep you than show you everything that will make you to break, and He will lose you. He will rather not lose you. He will rather not lose you. Do you understand it? So vision will evolve. It is the revealed future. It is what you catch per time, per season, based on your level of growth, based on your level of how you submitted to process in the last season. Because if you did not pass the last season, you will not be promoted to the next season. You will do exam. You do promotional exam. You do all those things. And if you don't pass it, God is a loving father. Be like, don't worry, you're still my loving daughter, you're still my loving, I love you. But I will not give that to you yet. And it is you delaying yourself. It is you stalling. Do you understand it? So, vision is a revealed future. Now, vision is anchored in identity. Now, when you start to know what your purpose is, you start to understand what your purpose is, and you, like I said, purpose evolves. You continue to know you continue to know who you are. It continues to reveal itself to you day after day, time on time, seasons after seasons, based on your growth. So the more you understand that, the more you understand your identity. There is no vision that you can catch that should not be aligned to your identity. In fact, there are some kind of vision you can never get because of your understanding of your identity. So let me explain it to you. I usually use this one. Let me use this very common one that I'm used to using. So I usually say, where I come from in Nigeria, if you're royalty, let's say you're a princess, you are a princess, right? You understand what it means to be royal. You are well treated. You come from that lineage. When you step out to go and get, let's say you need to go and get something in a nearby store or a nearby market, you can't be caught wearing hair nets or bonnet or just Crocs to go to the next store. Do you know why? Because your identity is royalty. There is a way you move that they will know that that is royalty. So there is a manner of vision that you catch because of the person that you are, because of the knowledge of the identity of your identity. In fact, some vision will not be clear to you because you don't understand that side of you yet. Because you have not yet identified with that identity yet. So if God has called you to nations and you don't identify with it, when an opening comes from, let's say, an international opening, you will not be ready for it. So let's say God has called you to nations, but let's say you live in Nigeria, you don't have an international you don't have a passport, it's not up to date, and all of that. It means you're not identifying with that identity that God has called you to. So when the opportunity comes, you will not be ready for it and you will miss it. You will lose it because you know, but if you've seen it that God has called me to nations, I know that this, I know that that. So when the opening comes, you will recognize it. So your vision as a woman will not come to you if you have not identified with your identity. So your vision is anchored on your identity. Are we together? Now, vision is carried with conviction. My sisters and my brethren, if you are not convinced about your vision, I don't think anybody can motivate you to do it. Vision has to be carried with a certain level of conviction. Now, every day I've been posting a particular video of, if those that are on my WhatsApp, they know. Every day I've been posting it that whatever God has given you to do, you build it. You can cry, you can wail, it can break, it may not work, but you still build. You can still do it. Things may not be working, people may leave, but still build. Everything may be scattered, but still build. There is silence, but still build. And one day, boom, breakthrough. What will keep you going in the face of all of that is your conviction. In fact, somebody once said that once you realize that there's something God wants you to do, make sure you catch a conviction with God for it. Make sure that your conviction is strong so that when you meet that stumbling block, you will say that you will know that this one is just a pause. It does not mean I'm not going to continue. When you get things that discourage you, it is conviction that keeps you going. When you're stabbed in the back while you're carrying out your vision, it is your conviction that keeps you going. When things are not responding the way you thought they would, even though you're putting in the work genuinely, it is conviction that keeps you going. Vision is carried with conviction. Without conviction, vision dies. It doesn't become reality. Do you understand it? What keeps you going is conviction. And then number 4, vision is executed with discipline. You see, vision is what? Executed with discipline. Brutal one to be very specific. Brutal execution. And I'm sure we already talked about vision mapping and how to execute your vision already. But you see, there's a manner of discipline. There's a manner of person you have to become to be able to carry out your vision. There are things that you cannot be caught doing again. Not because they are bad, but Paul says all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. That applies to vision as well. Is it bad to sleep 8 hours? No. In fact, doctors recommend it. But there are seasons in your life, that they don't born you where to sleep 8 hours. Like, I'm sorry if you don't understand that. Let me catch myself back a little. Do you understand? And it is in seasons. It doesn't mean it should be like a perpetual way of life. Like Dr. Oluwaseyi said that at least have that once in a week where he said, let me just sleep. I know that, yeah, like sleep with reckless abandon. Yes. But you don't reward yourself with sleep of reckless abandon when you have not yet put in the work of discipline. Why are you sleeping like that when you have not done what you're supposed to do? You have not yet put in the work. You have not yet done, you set goal for yourself. You did not achieve it. You didn't take yourself seriously like that. How will we take you serious? How will we take you serious when you don't respect yourself enough to do what you said you were going to do? You said you were going to do this by the end of January. Today is February 27th. Brothers and sisters, what have you done? And then you want to be sleeping with reckless abandon. You want to go on vacation. Go now. It's good. I mean, rest is really good. But what are you resting from? Bible says labor to enter into rest. The day the Holy Spirit explained this to me, it means that for you to be able to get rest, there's a certain kind of labor you need to have done to labor into that rest so that you can know you deserve the rest. If you not labor, what are you resting from? There's a discipline that has to. I was telling one of my sisters just before this night that this weekend is one of the fullest weekend of my life in a very long while. Fullest. I have every reason not to be here. By God's grace, my husband and I pastor a church. We just finished the night vigil. We came straight from the vigil to this place. I could have said that I'm sorry. I don't think I can make it. And my excuse would have been valid. It's God's work, is it not? It would have been valid. But I already gave my word. I honor my word. Because I'm a daughter of God, I'm the child of God, and God honors his word. Lion does not used to born goats. Do you understand? And I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. You execute vision with discipline. You execute vision with discipline. You can't just say, I have vision. I have a vision. That is what God has done. God said I should do this. I am to do this. I am born to take the world. You want to take the world? You don't read books. You don't listen to messages. You don't buy courses. You don't subscribe to your own. You be say, what are they teaching? You cannot pay. You don't give yourself to discipline. You don't give yourself to the study of the word of God. They ask, what's the scripture of your life? You don't know. They want to burn the world in the fire of God. I'm sorry for this. I hope I forgot. I think I'm already screaming. I think I just move on from this slide before I trigger everyone. But do you understand what I am saying? Is it landing? Do you get what I am saying? Thank you. So let's move on very quick. Thank you. Thank you for the comments. That's very encouraging. Now, we're moving to what I call the DNA of vision. DNA is like the characteristics. It's like what forms vision. And I want you to take these four things. I'm going to talk about these four things and then should be bringing this to an end. I don't even know where I am again. I'm checking my personal notes and just to be sure that I'm still here. Yeah, so these four things, they're like the DNA of vision: identity, alignment, courage, and generational. And what does that mean? What does that mean? Excuse me. Identity. The identity. Vision as an identity. Vision as an identity. It is anchored on identity, like I mentioned earlier. Vision has to be aligned. There has to be an alignment with vision if it's going to come to pass. There has to be an alignment. And then vision needs courage. Vision needs courage. Vision needs courage. I said that 3 times because I wanted to sink in. In fact, they usually say, if you get a vision and it is not bigger than your current state and realities, it's probably not from God. Your vision will usually scare you. Oh, yes. Vision is not realistic. It's not logical. You can't, so you need courage to step into it. And then finally, vision is generational, meaning that whatever vision you're catching, if you think about it thoroughly, and in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, it's not going to matter, then check again. God is a generational God. And have you noticed that when God created Adam, he didn't create another man. Every other person came from him, from that Adam. Every other man came from Adam. God does not reinvent wheels. No, it will probably evolve, it will change style, it will change shape, but it's still the same. Every other thing will flow from it. So when God is giving you a vision, most likely every other part of your vision of your life will flow from it as well. That's why I said purpose is very, very big. So you keep catching different parts of it. You keep catching different part of it. It's not that your purpose is this today and tomorrow you are catching something else like my purpose is no longer that one that I said before. It's now this one now. No. It flows from it. And you will, if you're aligned, you will see, you'll be able to connect the dots. Are we together? So let me go to the identity part of vision. Vision is identity before strategy. You need to understand it. And I think I mentioned that earlier when I was talking about the identifying with your identity. Vision is identity before strategy. A woman does not build vision. You don't only build vision, you birth it. And you can't bet what has not, you can't bet somebody else's child. Do you understand it? Your child comes from you. And thank God we're talking, most of people on the call are women. Your child comes from you. From you. Because it carries your DNA. That's the way your vision should be. You should be one with your vision. So you don't only build it, you birth it first before you build it. When you give birth to a child, before you start training the child, you have to give birth to the child first, right? So you birth the vision, and that is the identity of vision. You birth it. You can feel it. It's almost touchable. It's almost palpable. And vision, like I said, it flows from conviction. It flows from burden. It flows from your calling. And I was talking about the flow of purpose the other time. And let me continue it. So I said you catch your vision. So it is the purpose. I have this in my book, The Purpose Blueprint, and you can find it on Amazon as well. I dedicated a full chapter to one of this, either the wheel of purpose or the place where I wrote about the integration of purpose. And what I said, you have the vision, you have the purpose, it flows, vision flows from your purpose. And then what you now start to catch from your vision is your assignments. Now, when you catch a vision, the way you are able to execute vision is that it is broken down into assignments for the season. Assignments are seasonal. That is why you see somebody that started something and after the 5th year, they stop. Not because it wasn't working, but because God had told them that the time for that thing is up. Some assignments are just for a season. Some assignments are for life. You need to be able to differentiate which is which. Don't hold on to what God is saying you should release. And don't release what God is saying you should still hold on to because you feel like it's not working yet. Some of the assignment God is giving to you, the fulfillment of that assignment is your obedience. As in, once you obey to God, it is already done. You are still looking for a crowd. But to God, you've done it because He only wanted to use it to test if you have passed the exam of obedience. So you need to understand, but assignment will flow from vision. What then the fulfillment of each of those assignments is what you now call success. That's why you can't define your success with the success of somebody else because our assignment in each season is different. Are you catching it? Your assignment per season is different. So your assignment is when you fulfill each of the assignments given to you, that's when you can say I'm successful because that is you eating your KPI. Your own KPI is different from my own. I can't say because this person is doing morning prayers every morning, but I should not set ring light every morning. Ha! And I have 9 to 5. I should not get to office and be sleeping. Eh? Kingdom ambassador. Do you understand? And I'm not saying if God that's what God is saying you should do, He will release grace for it. But if God has not sent you there and you go and do it, you'll be operating on a machine that is not oiled. Do you know what it means to operate a machine that is not oiled? It will be very hard. It will be very difficult. But once you know that that's what God has sent you to do, you do it. So vision, your assignment flows from your vision. You birth it from conviction. You birth it from the burden and the callings of God. And calling is not just that I now call you, hey, hello, my daughter, Pelumi, rise up now. And now go to Nineveh. And what? That's not just calling. Callings are actually the disciplines of your vision, the disciplines that your assignments require, the kind of sacrifices you need to make so that that assignment can come to pass. That is your calling. Oh, yes. Okay, so let me move on. Without identity clarity, you start to see yourself borrowing trends, like I said before. You'll be chasing applauds. You'll be chasing how many likes you have on Instagram. This thing, let me just quickly say this one, off record. Imagine that, if you've set up ring lights, you have done a really good video, that this video, you poured your heart into it, out of conviction and everything. They edited it so well, even you when you're watching it, you were feeling blessed and everything. Then you post it on Instagram. Then you come back like 2 hours later, and it is only your life that is still on it. Or like, I mean, or let's say everything is just maybe like 5 likes, or you're like, people did not hear this thing that I'm saying. Can they know? Instagram is even still good. I think Instagram is still nice. LinkedIn, very proud people on LinkedIn. Oh, good. Thank goodness, where's that coming from? Okay, are we still together? So you understand. So those kind of things, it can discourage you if you don't know what you're doing. If you're not carrying conviction, it is gone. You don't be like, I beg you. In fact, you will sell your English. You, you say I'm not doing it again. So you don't want to chase what is trending. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do things because it is trending, but you want to do it because it is born from conviction. You're identifying with it, right? Are we together? All right. Vision demands alignment. You remember we said the DNA of vision. One, we said identity and then alignment. It demands alignment. A woman cannot carry a big vision with leaky boundaries. You need to understand that there are things you need to just work on. One of my dearest coaches will say, you need to recognize your normalized nonsense and work on them. The nonsense that you have normalized, and you'll be like, God will understand. God will not understand. No, you need to be aligned. What boundaries do you need to set? And these are the questions for you on the screen. Does my habit support my vision? The habit, what you are doing now. My relationships, do they respect my vision? Because you can't do vision with misaligned relationships. There are some relationships you're in and you have no business in. Not because they are not good. I think I put out a post some few days ago about this because I taught it on one of my free, webinars last week or thereabout. And I was mentioning that there's some relationships that they no longer serve the level of vision that you're in. You don't hate them, you're still friends. It's just they don't understand what you carry now. And maybe if they grow and they understand it, then you can bring them into that. But if they don't yet understand it, there's really nothing you can do about it. So you need to understand and do a relationship audit because you need to be aligned. Another thing you need to look at are your values. You can't have confused values. Your values has to be aligned with your identity, with who you are, with your purpose, with your vision. There's some values you should know. There's some things that you should not be caught dead doing. Or, it should not be you that you get to office and you're changing date and time, the time you got there, things like that. If you got there at this time, put it there. It's not you that will be caught adding one more zero. Because you are in that privileged position. You are not the one that is swapping CV so that you are favoring somebody above somebody. That is not you. That's not who you are. You don't make your decision based on fear of failure, fear of the future. You are not aligned with vision if you are making decisions only based on fear of even the unknown. Right? If your vision is divine, your discipline must match it. I mentioned that it must match it. There must be alignment. Right? It must match it. Your value system has to be in place. You must have decision filters. What are the things that sits with you to say, this one, I can't do it because of this? What filters your decision? Do you do everything because they are nice? All things are good, doesn't mean they are good for you. In fact, I dare say, if you are purposeful and you have vision and you're yet to be married, the knowledge of your vision and your purpose filters out the kind of person you go and pray about. The people that they don't, when they come to you, you don't need to pray about it. You don't, no, no, no. I love you, my brother. We can remain as brothers in Christ, but no, we're not going the same way. You don't even need to go and bother God. That's just an example. You don't need to pray about some people. You don't need to pray about some business decisions. You just know that no, I can't partner with this person. I can partner with this person in this business. I can't. Not because they're not doing well, but no, my consecration will not permit me. What consecrations do you have so that you can carry out your vision? Environment design. How do you design your environment to match your vision, to align with your vision? How do you design it? Do you declutter? Do you put the right things everywhere? How do you arrange the things around you to suit the vision? Adjust your calendar to reflect the vision that you're carrying in each season. Your calendar shouldn't be the same thing from January to December. If it's the same thing, there's a problem. It means that you're not catching any new thing. In this season, what should you rearrange to be priority? The same thing cannot priority every time, except if it's your relationship with God. Apart from that, when it comes to assignments, there are times that I mellow down on my coaching work and I focus on ministry work. There are some other time, ministry work, I delegate what I can delegate. I focus on the coaching work. Some other time, both coaching and ministry are just at the level of what I need to do. And I focus on my family. There are seasons like that. There are seasons that this one, God wants me to just take a break. Yes. I remember last year, where was it April now? April, May. God just wanted to pour into me. And I knew it. I didn't do any webinar. I didn't, and January to first quarter was so full. It was so full. April and May. I didn't even know webinar. I think the only thing I did was the monthly mentorship session I do for my ministry and for the ministry that I run. That was the only, apart from going to church, of course, and of course my pastors. That one we can't take it out. But coaching, announcing, I even post. I not post videos. Yes, there should be seasons like that. You will not die. You'll be okay. I promise you, you'll be fine. Let's move on very quickly because my time is fast approaching. Vision requires courage, and I think I've talked a lot about this. And like I outlined here, my dear, you'll be misunderstood. You will be stretched. May I be the bearer of good news? You will outgrow your comfort. You will even stand alone sometimes. It does not invalidate your vision. It does not mean you saw wrong. You didn't see wrong. And this is also a moment of encouragement. As I'm pumping courage to you, I'm also encouraging you. That when you're charting a course for the Lord, especially when you're carrying a vision that is aligned with the agenda of God for a season, it always doesn't make sense, even to your spouse sometimes. Yes, even to your spouse. Sometimes God will say, it's you I called, it's you I told this, gave you the instruction, it's not your husband. Oh, yes. There are times like that. Yes. So far, what you're doing does not hurt your family, does not hurt your children, does not. Yes, at times that is come out and be separate. There are times that you have to face it alone. You will cry. Cry babies in the house, shout hallelujah. I'm a cry baby. Hey, I cry. Thank God, why don't you just allow me just rest? Just leave me alone small now. Why that what I've at my door to deserve this? And then you finish, you clean your eyes, you continue. You keep going. I saw one video on one reel. I had to share it on my story that you're crying, oh God, this one. And somebody just sent to me, said, "No, sis, I need you to pray for me." I'm like, and you're like, yeah, sis, what's up? And you are crying, no, you are crying for your own. And you're crying for your own. And I'm just like, oh, sis, yeah, yeah, of course, let's pray together. And I didn't know that you were just crying. Right? That is my I post, I was like, in fact, this is just the summary of my entire life. But it doesn't mean your vision is not correct. Doesn't mean your vision is not. So far you have that conviction. I declare courage unto you to just continue to press in. Just keep going. And in due season, your reward is going to come. And like I said, it could be misunderstood, could be standing alone at some point. I don't have the time to share stories on this call. I don't have the time because my time is almost up. I'm just about 2 minutes out. And let me just move on very quickly. The next thing is that vision is generational. It should be transferable. It must be transferable. It is not personal. Your vision is not about you. If you think it's about you, you are thinking too much. You're overthinking it. It's not about you. Like I was on a call earlier today, and the person was like, if you think it's about you, think, in fact, yeah, don't just, we don't know you, we don't know your name. It is the solution you are bringing that we need. You're overthinking it if you think it's about you. No, it's not personal. A visionary woman, you shape systems, you shift narrative, you build legacy, you influence even nations. I saw a scripture in different light today. It's in the book of Acts where when Paul was teaching, Bible says that when Paul was teaching, because they were teaching, he was teaching them, they stopped serving gods of the land. And so they stopped buying, the people that sculpt, those gods, those things, they stopped buying from them. And those ones started to revolt and report Paul because they were no longer buying from him. And what that meant was that Paul, just by teaching, by carrying on the vision, was shifting where the economic system was going. People were no longer buying some particular kind of things. They shifted their gaze. That means business and economic systems was changing just because somebody was teaching. So, your vision is not just about you. Your purpose, the entirety of your purpose, it's not about you. I thought I had a 40-day teaching last year about being called to build. And one of the things I said is that your purpose has a two-edged sword. It must point in two directions. You must honor God and you must serve people. That is the same way. You must, whatever you're building, whatever the vision is, it must point to up and it must point down. It is honoring God at the same time, consecutively, it is serving people. If it's not doing that, you see that you are not even in the equation. And it's not because God does not love you. It's just to bring the news to you that it's not about you. It's not about you. Okay. It's not about you. It's about systems, about the kingdom. It's about the legacy that you're going to leave after you. Who is going to remember the work that you did after you are long gone? Now, I want you to do this exercise. And you may not be able to do it on this coming because of my time, but I want to encourage you to do it. I see a future where, and complete the sentence. I see a future where dash, 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 write it, whatever that vision is. It may be the toughest one on your mind right now. I want you to write it down. And when you have written it down, you then ask yourself this question: what must change in me for that vision to come to pass? And what decision must I make now? What decision do I need to make now to make it happen? What shift must happen? This quarter, this season, what must I do? In the next 3 months, the next 90 days, what decision do I have to make and commit to see that it is towards this vision coming to pass? What have you been seeing? And I need to ask you today, what have you been seeing that you're shrinking from? What have you been seeing? Because I'm here to pump courage to you. Some of you, what I see is that you're seeing some things. God has been showing you some things, but you have been shrinking from it because you feel that you're not courageous enough, or you're not big. You feel like it's not your size. You're too small for it. You need to go back. Those are the questions you need to go and ask yourself and write them down and ponder on them, and then start to ask God for mercy, first of all. To say, God, I'm sorry for shrinking from this. Now I'm ready to step into it. What burden won't leave you alone? There are some burdens that God has laid on your heart. Write them down. They know you know that you have tried to run away from it, but it's still coming. Write them down. And then you need to also ask yourself this question, especially regarding vision. Where are you playing small to remain acceptable? Where have you been playing small, or are you currently playing small so that you can remain acceptable? And I will close with this tonight. The future is not waiting for permission. It is waiting for the women who see it. The future is not waiting for permission to whether come or not. It is waiting for the women who already see that future and are ready to step into it. And with that, I think I'm done tonight. I don't know if you have questions. If you'd like to connect with me, please. Those are my details. And details, you can scan that QR code if you can, so that you can just find all my links in there. And if you have any questions, if you need to watch videos like this, go on our YouTube and then you'll find more to encompass. We can't see everything in this very short time. Thank you again for having me. But before I say thank you, if you have questions and answers, I'm here to answer that. Thank you. Let me stop sharing my screen. Thank you so much for the
Wow.
opportunity
Thank
to
you
be here.
so much, Coach Melanie. Who is fired up just from this session? There are too many nuggets. Not even nuggets. At this point, it's a whole chicken. My goodness. Who is fired up from this session? Can we please just a round of applause with the emojis, with the chats, just to say thank you, Coach Pelumi, for these words of honestly, I felt like I don't have a wig right now, but I feel like you dragged my wig if I had one because there were so many insights, so many questions, and I just kept writing notes. But in the chat quickly before we move into the next session, what was the one thing that Coach Pelumi had mentioned that really stood out to you that you're taking from this session that you know that you're going to apply in your life? Quickly in the chat, just one or two people, if you can just kindly share. And I'll also go through my notes as well. There were so many impactful moments. No more shrinkage. Absolutely. I think that's a very big one. Those are one of the questions as well. The future is not waiting for permission. It's waiting for women to see it. That was powerful. And awareness of influence. Thank you, Michelle, for mentioning that. Dr. Joy, no shrinking back, even if I am misunderstood. Absolutely right. When you're going through the process of clarifying your vision and walking in your vision, there are moments where people will say, what is this one doing? She's doing too much. She's being extra. She's being loud. People will say that. No, that's because they don't know the gifts and the talents that God has already instilled in you. Coach Pelumi, thank you so much for all those insights. I have my notebook is full. We're truly, truly grateful for just going through this session with us. I see a comment here. I must be careful who I follow for crowd, and it doesn't indicate the right influence. Absolutely, yes. I completely agree with that. Not following for likes or seeking validation from social media as well, but that conviction, Coach Wilumi, you talked about that several times. That conviction, that's what will keep you going. That's where the consistency will come in. So once again, please, all the hearts in the chat, just help me acknowledge Coach Wilumi for this inspiring, motivational, uplifting, all the English, I don't even know at this point, but great session. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Any questions from our audience? If there's no questions, I want to make sure. I keep looking in the chat. Okay, I don't see any. And I want to do a quick time check. We will move on to our next and last session for the day. If you have some water with you, please stay hydrated. One thing I want to, let's see. Okay, one thing I want to move into. So the next session is going to be a panel discussion. And this one, the theme for this one it's going to be She Sees the Future. Vision-Driven Women Shaping Nations. And this panel session, we have a few panelists that are here, very powerful. The first one is going to be Dr. Joy, Miss Michelle as well. Coach Galumi is also on this panel session. So if there's any questions, please, I think this is also a good time to even ask them. And I'm sure they'll be spitting some fire too as well. And Coach Oluwaseyi Fumi as well is also on this panel session. Let me check with our support team. Do we have any other bios for the panel session to bring up? If we don't, I will pass it on to Dr. Joy. Yes, we do. All right, perfect. Let's go through the there we go.
Michelle is a dedicated play coach whose mission is to empower individuals to embrace self-care, manage stress effectively, and live with intention and purpose. She helps them put the fun back into fundamental. Through her work, she inspires others to reconnect with themselves and lead lives infused with fun, meaning, and well-being. She is a founder of Resilience.com, a platform offering engaging programs designed to enhance overall well-being. Michelle's approach celebrates play, presence, and purpose, inviting people to build confidence, rediscover joy, and resilience in everyday life. Michelle brings a wealth of expertise and continuous learning to her practice. She is a Gallup certified Clifton Strength Coach, a certified facilitator in Lego Serious Play Method, a certified facilitator in the Alternative to Violence Project Model, a practitioner trained in mindfulness-based stress reduction, an active mentee of Art First Communications, and she holds a BA in Organizational Leadership and Change. Her commitment to growth ensures that she not only teaches these principles, but embodies them in her own life. Please join me as we welcome Michelle Miseli.
Wow, to hear that is is very heartwarming. I've never heard anything about that about myself until now. So thank you.
Okay. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining us from. I'm so, I've been trying to express my excitement, but it's been difficult because my two devices decided to malfunction tonight, and I've been struggling with it. So I've just been trying to, engage in the chat, and I couldn't turn on my video. But I think we're going to start now. So I want to start by saying thank you to the speakers. See, I have my note here. I've been writing a lot of insights. And, as we prepared for this summit, I was looking forward with excitement because having in the room this wonderful blend of powerful women, I know that I won't remain the same. A lot of things to glean from. So I want to say thank you to the moderator for, you've been doing a good job, like great job. Well done. I also want to say thank you to Visionary Kende for being our moderator tonight. We're so happy. We're pleased to have you. You're doing a great job. I want to say a big thank you to Pastor Laide for the first session. It was really wonderful. Linking the story of Anna, some of us didn't even see the story that way, right? But thank you for teaching us for that insight. And then for Coach Oluwaseyi, thank you for that session. Many of us struggle. We have that vision. It's like it looks like an elephant in our mind, but we need to move from that point of idea to implementation. We need to break it down. We need a step-by-step process to help us get to implementation. And thank you for doing justice to that. Talking to us about the scope, the strategy that you need, how you need to know your outcome. You need to clarify your outcome, 1 or 2 outcomes. What are the outcomes you want? What are the outcomes you're looking out for? Thank you for that session. And then we had the purpose and reading coach, Lady Pelumi. Thank you for that session. Thank you. I know you just finished another program and then you joined us in this program. I want to say thank you for honoring me. I don't take this for granted. Every one of you showing up in this meeting, I really appreciate you and I honor you. Thank you very much. So we have a couple of questions we want to discuss. So I will call on the panelists so you can spotlight them. We have Lady Michelle, we have Lady Pelumi, and we have Coach Oluwaseifumi. If you can spotlight the 3 of them, that would be good. Can we do 3 of them? Or if we can't, we can do it one by one. If you can spotlight them, that would be good. Okay, good. Yeah. If you can spotlight the 4 of us rather, that would be great. And so I'm happy just seeing your beautiful faces. Thank you very much once again. Okay, so let's go to our questions. So someone dropped a question in the chat box, which I put up again, but I think we missed it. So she asked the question, how do you design your environment to align with your vision? And that's when Coach Pelumi was speaking. So how do you design your environment? James Clear would say in Atomic Habit, there's something about the power of the cues around you, how you structure your environment to move you to achieve your goals. So can you tell us a bit about how you design your environment to align with your vision?
Thank you, Dr. Joy, once again for this opportunity. And thank you for that question as well, whoever asked that. Thank you. So when we say you design your environment to align with your vision, there are things that you start to put in place. There are structures you have to put in place that will support the vision that you have in every season. So let me give a very, very close to home example. And I think I mentioned that during the call as well. Let's say your calendar, for example, because that's like really close to us. You know that in this season, you have clarified your vision, you've clarified your outcome and what you need to do. What do you need to then move around? How much time do you need to spend on each of those things? Let's say, for example, you have the time before to watch 2 movies in a week. If you're going to be able to meet up for what you want to do, you need to reduce the number of hours, because if you're going to sit with a movie, at least you will spend 1.5 hours to 2 hours. Can you channel that 2 hours into this assignment that you're working on and the results you want to see, so that you can meet up with that vision, with that results that you have written down? So it all starts from clarity. You need to first know what you want to do. Like Coach Ifumi said, you need to clarify that. And then it's like you adjusting. It's like Lego. You need to move it. You need to move it around so it fits. If your priority are your children, what do you need to set? What do you need to set up in the house to make sure that the most attention is going to them in that season? So rearranging your environment does not mean you should pack from where you are to another house or to another place. No, it is you restructuring and rearranging almost realistically, so that you've done everything that you can do. Yes, there are spaces for. It's like creating a rhythm. So I do like a rhythm coaching for executives and C-suite leaders, that you have a new assignment, or you've just gotten a promotion, or you've not been given another work added to yours. You know that you still have the same 24 hours. Your spouse and your children, they're not going anywhere else. The people that you're reporting to now are more. The responsibilities you have now, they are more. So how do you rearrange your life so that you don't break under pressure? That is what it means to rearrange your environment, to
Okay.
align with the vision. Does that answer the question?
Okay, thank you very much. Some of us need to do some rearrangement. In fact, I had to do some rearrangement in my life. Some weeks ago, I had to do, and I'm still doing some rearrangement actually. So thank you for
It's a
that
continuous
explanation.
thing, really. It is. You shouldn't, like
Yes,
I said, if your calendar is the same thing from January to December, there's a problem. Yeah,
yeah. Okay, thank you. So let's go to the first question we have here. When you look at the world around us, some people say that one of the things that could point to your purpose, to the reason why God has called you, or to the vision that God is giving you, one of those things could be the pain or the things you see around you that break your heart. So the first question is, when you look at the world today, what breaks your heart? What future do you believe women are uniquely positioned to help build? I mean, you see broken systems, you see broken structures, you see things around you. What are those things that break your heart? What should I start with? I'll start with me, Michelle. Yeah, Michelle.
Thank you. The things that I see that break my heart, first and foremost, is just the hatred and the violence that it just is everywhere. It's on social media, it's on the news, it's on the radio. And what really breaks my heart is when people see something on social media and they don't validate it, they don't validate the source, and they just take it as truth, and then they continue to spread it and perpetuate it. And so what I try to do is ask the questions like, well, who is they? One example I can give is my mom. She'll see something on Facebook and she'll say, oh, well, they said this, they said that. She got so mad at me one day because I said, well, who is they? And I just was trying to get her into the mindset of really understanding who is posting what she's reading and taking as truth versus, really understanding where it's coming from and what the underlying message might be. And so I said, well, who is they? And she says, well, I don't know. Whoever posted it on Facebook. And I said, well, go to, who's the name that posted? Do you know them? Is it a group? And she was just like, oh, well, it says this group. And I'm like, okay. And it was something political. So I said, do you know what party they represent? Do you know what their stance is? And she was, stop analyzing me. I don't know. I don't. And so she shut down because I was asking her questions to get her to think about what she is doing is perpetuating something that she hasn't validated. And so when that happens, and it happens in my world every day and in my network, and I'm sure yours too, where people will see something and say, oh, well, did you see this? And something happened and you don't really know if it's true. And now with the onset of AI, there's so much that has to be validated with extra caution that someone may not realize they're perpetuating a cycle of violence or something that is rooted in hate. And so I try to ask those questions to just interject and disrupt the cycle as best I can. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, because we can all relate to that. We can all relate to maybe one of our parents, friends, or someone just sending that video. And you're like, where did you get the video from? So we can all relate with that. Thank you very much for sharing. So the next question is, was there a defining moment when your vision expanded beyond personal success to generational or global impact? I would ask Coach Oluwaseyi for me. Can you tell me? Because you talked about what you're building in Nigeria and now you're collaborating with people. So can you tell us, both of you, in fact, the three speakers today, they've spoken about, building beyond you. Like they've been saying it, building beyond you. legacy. That's what they're talking about. So, Coach Oluwaseun, can you answer that question? That shift.
Okay, thank you for the question. So how did okay, so let me give you a backstory on how I got into this all starting the foundation and all of that. It was okay, I live in the US and I don't know, for some weird reasons, my kids outgrow their clothes quickly, they outgrow everything quickly. And so I have a culture of always sending those things back home. But I have a friend that has a foundation in Abuja, and she then called out saying that she needed books. So she was building a library for a school, for a public school. And then she then said she's called out saying she needed books. So I sent all my kids' book. I sent it to her. And then she got the books and she called me. And when she called me, she was like, the books were in great condition and she loved it and all of that. And she was just grateful. And I can remember clearly. I was in my kitchen when I received that call. And when I received that call, what just came to my head was, what more can I do for her? What more can I do for her? Then it's like, okay, one of the things, I'm a Lego mom. Just so you know, Michelle, like I'm a through and through Lego mom. So I was like, okay, so one of the things that has helped my own children with their thinking, with the way they articulate is Lego. Um, my first child started doing Lego maybe at 3, and then at 5, we bought a bunk bed and we were going to set up the bed. And he said to us, give me the manual, I will tell you what to do. And he guided us through it. And at that point, I realized it was because he's been doing Lego. So he's familiar with that direction. And I was like, how many? And at that point, when I was now speaking to the lady, I was like, how many kids have access to this? To be able to develop their cognitive thinking, to be able to develop their problem-solving thinking. And I was like, this thing is not. So that was the idea that was the point that I thought, okay, I was going to start to do something that would help. And the impact that my work has had on people over time makes me realize that this thing cannot stop. It can't. If it stopped, there's going to be a problem. Only if there's a change in the whole ecosystem of education is that gap that I'm blocking, that is not part of the system, going to not be needed. But as long as there is going to be a need for this, I have to build beyond myself. I have to build beyond myself. So it's the fact that if this problem keep existing, which it's not like I wanted to, but I don't know how the vision will evolve in the coming years. But the fact that I have to build beyond myself to ensure that this channel is open to solve this problem if this problem persists. Because if the problem persists and because of my lack of vision or lack of discipline or lack of structure, I make the organization die, God is going to ask me, I gave you something to do, you didn't see it through. Right. So that for me is when it moves just beyond, oh, it's something I'm doing, to something that must continue to happen because this problem persists and we have to create a channel where these young kids have access to what other people have access to in other part of the world, but naturally it's not in their disposal and we have to create that opportunity for them. So I
Thank you
hope that
very much.
answers your question.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. You just emphasized the vision is beyond you.
Yes.
From your story, like it was born out of a need, and it's not your need, it's the need of others. So
Yeah.
the vision came because there was a need in the world, in your environment that you had to meet.
Yeah.
And you caught that vision. It's not about us. If you are going to leave this summit, I want you to leave with that at the back of, not even at the back of your mind, in your hand, that it's not about you. It's about a need you have to meet in the world. Let's go to the third question. Thank you for sharing that. How do women protect and not your vision in seasons of delay. I'm sure we've all experienced delay. I have experienced delay in my life. I'm sure we've all had moments of discouragement and invisibility. So, how do you protect a vision that you believe God has given you in those moments that seem like a wilderness experience? So, let's ask Lady Oluwapelumi, how do you protect your vision?
My first answer will be conviction. As
Mhm.
I mentioned it so many times while I was going through my session. That's the first thing. You need to know who called you and why he did. Who gave this vision, who put it in your heart in the first place. Many times, even just thinking about it right now, I told you I'm a crybaby. I am teary. Because sometimes I just go back and I feel like, God, I was on my own. It was you that brought this thing to me. It was you that said I should do this. And especially if you then have the word of God, like a verse in the scripture, couple of verses in the scripture that sort of supports, that sort of adds layers to that, that vision. Learn to pray it consistently in tears, in discouragement, through trials, even when it is not working. Continue to confess it until you see it. Believe it as though it was already done, so that those seasons are not strong enough to break you out of your vision or break you out of your conviction. See, conviction also grows. Your conviction about something, it grows. Also, another thing and how it grows is that one of the things that helps it to grow is you referring to the times when God has come through for you before. Don't forget your seasons of testimonies. And it may not be even with that vision, maybe it's something else. But you can say, if God did this, he can do it. He's still the same God. And it may not even be your own experience. It could be experiences in the scriptures. It could be somebody, and I've had that happen to me. Okay, so let me give this very, very profound example that happened this when the new day, but yesterday morning, the morning of Friday 27th. I was having a conversation with one of my leaders in the ministry that I lead, and we had a meeting on Thursday evening, talking about the year and the projects that we have that we need to work on and all of that. And we're talking about funding. And we were having some very weird and not thought about before ideas of where we could write to. And I'm like, hey, these places that we are right, I'm not even sure. But we were compiling them. I'm like, even me, I saw this one. I said, she was saying this person too. And I'm like, okay. Now, as we finished the conversation, I opened Instagram. And I don't know why I went to Instagram, although we are dread by Bible and all that, but I opened Instagram. And the very first video I saw was of a man of God. He was saying that we should watch a video. And in that video, a man was carrying held birds feed. So he just poured it on the floor, and then pigeons came around and they started to eat it and all that. He said that this man does it every single day, except that it doesn't seem only the day he doesn't stand in front of his window. That's the pastor now. So the guy actually stays around him. So that day he decided to do a video of them. And then after that, they said he went to ask this man to say, why do you do this? And he says, no, he just enjoys it. He relaxes him and all that. And then he said, immediately the scripture jumped to him that said that if your heavenly Father can feed the birds of the air and they don't do anything, how much more you that was made in his image? And that for me, it was, it was so comforting. It was so comforting that if God can feed the birds, if God can make provision through somebody that just felt it was just relaxing, he fed those birds. That was for me. That is how God brings conviction to you. See, God doesn't give you something and leaves you to it. No. At every point, he will bring something to encourage your heart. Yes, he will. Yes. And it doesn't have to be people. It could be anyone. It could be anything. Just so that you know that he's still there. The still small voice is still there. It might not be in the rain, it might not be in the wind, it might not be in the thunder, it might not be in the loud noise, but his still small voice is still there. And once you hear that nudge, keep going. Keep going. That's all you just needed, that sign. And once I saw that, I knew that whatever I have written down, that we have written down, it will be done this year. It will be done. And I don't know where it will come from, but it will be done. That was enough conviction for me. So you also look for things around you. Be sensitive to the voice of God, because God can use anything. God can use anything to just make you know that I'm still here with you. I gave you this thing and I'm still here with you. So that keeps the conviction going, and that keeps the vision also going. Thank you.
Yes, so conviction keeps you in those moments of discouragement and delay. Good. Thank you for sharing that. We go to the next question. What happens when vision is present but no value? So just imagine an equation of vision minus value. Or you imagine an equation where there are values. Now, when I mean values, the first one, I mean values, I mean core values like integrity, honesty, dignity, whatever it is. And then the second part, just imagine that you have your values and you are creating value, but you are not expressing your voice. That's a two-edged question. I don't know if you understand that question. So vision minus values, like values, integrity, and all that. But the second part, you have the values, you are creating value, like you're creating value, which is very important for you to, make an impact, right? You're creating value, but you don't have a voice. Who should answer this? Okay, let me ask
Let me answer the first part, and then I'll leave the other part. When there's a vision without values, the vision will be corrupted. That's it. It will be corrupted. That's it. I don't know how best
That's
to
the
explain
truth.
it.
That's like
That's it.
baseline. Values are
It will be
what
corrupted. It's
protects.
not, yeah.
Yeah. Values are what protects the integrity of a vision.
Yeah.
Because
Value is what will make you to place the right boundaries around your
around
vision.
it. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Right.
And if you don't use your voice, if you have your values, but you don't use your voice to lead into your vision, you're not in alignment. And then like an empty shell walking around, that you're bringing value. You might be doing things for others, but you yourself are not fulfilled. And that is a wasted soul.
So that's misalignment, really.
Yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
that's misalignment.
Because
not aligned.
The authenticity of your life is that you're living out that value and you're saying it. So if so that's the thing with vision. You can be doing things that are not in your vision. You can. It's possible to be living a life that is not
And
in
even be
vision.
successful in it.
And you will not be successful. You can't. See, true success, right? It's not just, oh, you hosted an event. It's the fulfillment. That's actually the true success. And that commendation, when you go back before the Lord and he says that good and faithful servants, that's actually the true success, which will never come if you are not in vision. And in vision, you would use your voice. In vision, your idea, because Coach Palumi shared it that that identity, the alignment of who you are, right, in that vision, you cannot give what you do not have. You cannot give what you are not when it comes to vision. So if that voice is not there, if you're a person of integrity, you did, what are you doing for the Lord? Or what does the Lord ask you to do? Have you done it? Or you are doing something you saw somebody else doing? Because that's what's happening. Everybody is saying, oh, this person is doing this. Okay, I can also do it. However, the core work that has been committed to you, have you done it? That is you actually lending your voice to the things that really matter according to your own design. Right. So you don't want to have one without the other.
I even feel like when you are a person of value and you are, but you're not learning your voice, you're slowing God down.
Yeah.
That,
And that was why God went after
whom,
Paul.
yes, to whom much is given, much is expected. So there's a scripture that says that this garden, I have invested so much in it. I'm tending it, I'm watering it, but it is not
Around
bearing
it,
fruit.
built a wall around it.
But yes,
Nothing.
it's not serving the
It's not
purpose.
ripping anything.
It's
Yeah.
not reaping from
Yeah.
that vineyard. You don't want to be that vineyard in the hand of the Lord. No.
So, yeah, thank you very much for that. So, as you were speaking, I was reminded of what Lady Pelumi talked about. So, when there is vision without value, another way to explain that is you talked about the two-edged sword of vision, right? Like it has to glorify God and it has to add value to man.
Yeah.
And so, if you are creating that impact, you are adding some form of value. Like the value you add would be different from mine, right? If you are adding value and you are not honoring God, it's not, yeah. So there has to be that boundary, that anchor that keeps you going, like a compass. So your core value should be like a compass. Let me stop here and say that if you're on this call and you don't have core values, you're wrong. This night, before you sleep, or this morning, wherever you are, sit down and clarify your core values. It doesn't have to be perfect. And no, I think I was telling someone that this year or even last year, I have gone back and adjusted my core values. Again, like I've gone back and said, okay, no, this one, I want to add this one. I want to remove, I want to, adjust. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it just keeps you anchored. There is an example is there is one of my core values that I hear people like it's my core value, but I hear people like tell me, and so it just affirms that it's my core value. And I hear people tell me that same thing, like, oh, you are this, you are this, you are this. It keeps you, and it matters to me. Like, even if I'm dying, that thing matters to me. It keeps me going. So if you're on this call, you don't have core values, or you have it in your head, but not written down, I think you need to clarify. It would keep you, What are your core values? Oh, how often do you visit? Okay, so let me throw this to another coach. Okay, so Shirley is asking a question. What are your core values? And what are your core values? How often do you revisit them, adjust them to serve your calling? Okay, who's going to help us?
So Lady Candy will be sharing a link
Okay.
she will share a link on how you can an assessment on how you can boil down to your core values. And so that would help. So he has there's a way that assessment works. There's a lot of things, and then it will ask you to select until you get to like maybe 5 or 10, and then these are your core values based on the questions it will ask you. So that is like the best way to go about it, because sometimes when you sit down, it's not always very easy for you to like, okay, these are my core values. But when you go through assessments like that, so she will share that in the chat. How often should you revisit your core value? At the minimum, annually. At the minimum, to say that, okay, maybe at the end of the year, you look at your goals for the year. When you're doing your live assessment at the end of the year, one of the things you should be assessing is your core values to say, did I leave out this value? Were this value is part of the things that I do? That's one. Anytime you are about to make a decision that is life-changing, it is important that you weigh them in line with your values. Does this thing match what I say or what I want to do? Right. So when you're about to make a decision, when you want to get on a project, especially when you want to get on a new vision, like, okay, you are catching a vision. Does this thing align with who you are? Right. Once someone brings an opportunity to you, does this align? Those are the thing with the value is it's your compact, it's your lens it should be your lens for decision making. There has to be alignment, because anytime you take a decision that is not in alignment with your core values, you are violating yourself. You lose your peace. You lose your peace anytime you do that. So especially with decision making, your core values are things that you should go to often. But if you throughout you go through a year, you didn't have to a new project you're working on, you didn't have a major decision to make, at the minimum, during your life assessment at the end of the year as you prepare for the new year, or when your seasons are changing, you should revisit your core values.
Okay, does that answer the question? Okay, thank you. So let's go to another question. Wow, time is flying. Let's go to another question. So, how do you remain anchored when leadership stretches, pressures, or exposes you? Let's ask Shirley. So, Lady Shirley, do you want to answer that question? So, how do you remain anchored with leadership? I know you have a vast experience with leadership, right? So, can you tell us when you feel under pressure, stretched, and exposed? How do you anchor yourself?
The way that I anchor myself is I really turn inward, and the first thing I do is give myself grace, because I tend to, be hard on myself and digest what other people are feeding me. And for whatever, maybe their frustrations or their challenges, and they're bringing those to me, is kind of my process is, have I under delivered? Have I not delivered? Have I delivered something wrong? Have I not been clear? And so really assessing myself and my capability and my communication. Have I met them where they are and communicated in ways that they needed me to? And then take a little bit of rest to kind of reset my mindset. And so I do some of that through meditation. I do a lot of it through play. And, it could be singing in the shower, it could be singing in the car, it could be just dancing in my living room. But really engaging my body in some form of play to release the stress that I carry, and just kind of release it and get it out. And then really looking at my competence and my capacity in whatever the situation is, and going back to my strengths and understanding, well, this is what so looking back at my own experience, at what I've accomplished, so that I can stand solidly in my own confidence when I come back to revisit whatever an issue is, whatever a challenge is, and to be able to continue to push against the discomfort or the friction that might be there, whether it's misunderstanding or misalignment. But really, for me, it's reflection, it's grace, it's meditation, it's play, and then being ready to advocate for myself in my confidence, because it's in service of somebody else. And so that's how I anchor myself.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that. One more person, can you share? Just 1 minute. Can someone else share how you also, anchor yourself when you're stretched?
I mean, I like Lady Michelle's answer. It's very comprehensive to say that you need to step back. For me, is when things happen, when you're stretched, you need to step back to anchor yourself. Yes, step back. And it's in stepping back you're able to reflect on the situation, because as a leader, you cannot just come out and just like, oh, something happened, no, reflect on it so that you can provide not just a well-rounded answer, but you can look at things in an holistic manner, right?
Okay.
You can look at things in an holistic manner. So that stretch, you going back before you come back to say that, okay, now this is it, because now you have better perspective of what has happened, and then preparing yourself. And I also think it goes back. So where I would just take it a little backward from the conversation we've been having is your values help you in those situations. Your values then will guide in how do you address this what happened, um, not just blames, but what are we then going to do going forward from those situations? So if there is pressure, okay, where's this pressure coming from? Did we drop the ball? Did I not anticipate the need that has mounted this pressure? How can I reorganize my life to accommodate the new needs that is mounting this pressure? Why was I exposed? Who exposed me? What was I doing wrong? What do I need to start doing now? Do I need to put some boundaries in place? Do my team understand um what is expected of us? Is there a breach? Does somebody not feel seen, heard on my team? Do I need to make someone feel valued so that they won't? If there is a stretch, is there a capacity deficiency? Is there a skill deficiency? Is there an ability deficiency on my team? Do we need to learn a new thing for us to be able to handle this thing that is happening? Right? All of those things come from reflection, like Miss Michelle talked about. So when you have those answers, then you can then come forward and present those answers to your team, because sadly, sometimes as the leader, you have to bear the burden of the answer, right? You have to bear the burden of the answer. But if you do not do all of the things Miss Michelle said, you're not going to be able to produce the answer.
Okay, thank you very much. So two things to take away: step back, relax. If you need to play, it's fine. The play coach just told us that herself.
Yeah.
If you need to play, play. If you need to reflect, if you need to do, an assessment, what's wrong, root cause analysis, and address the issue. Let's go to the last two questions. They're very important. What is one small but courageous step every woman here can take in the next 30 days? Now, in 1 minute or in 30 seconds, I'm going to give the three speakers an opportunity to tell us one small but courageous step every woman, we have men in the house, every man and woman can take within the next 30 days to be more intentional. So let's start. Shirley, you want to give us the first? Yeah.
So the first thing that comes to my mind is really take time to brain dump everything you have ever dreamed of, everything you have ever wanted, every dream, everything you wanted to be when you were a kid. Think back as far as you can from when you were a child, all those dreams you had, let them come forth, let them come out, because then you can really see if you are living in alignment. You can really see if you have that flow into your purpose. But it's got to come out and you've got to see it. I'd even say read it out loud so you can hear them.
Okay. Yeah. Can you go next and then 30 seconds.
I want to
One.
be sure. I want to be sure I got the question right. So you're saying, how do you know you're living in alignment with your purpose?
No, one courageous step. In 30 seconds, tell us one courageous step every woman here can take in the next 30 days. So you talked about intentionality, right? We've been talking about, vision is about intentionality. It's not just large or loud. Pastor Lide told us that it's intentional. So within the next 30 days, tell us one thing we can start doing to be more intentional.
So add to what Michelle said.
Yes.
Find a picture of somebody that is already living in the vision that you are seeing, that is already living that life, and start to see how you can connect with them. Not necessarily, if they're far from you, get their books, get their resources, start to learn from them as much as possible so that you can know what they are doing and what they did to get to where they are. And then start to apply those things to yourself, to your life.
It just reminded me of the concept of shadow mentorship.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. I first heard that word from DDK, and I started shadowing her until I got into VCAP.
Yeah,
Okay, so
absolutely.
yeah, touch Shay for me.
Okay,
30
so
seconds.
I would say review your daily practices. Yeah, your life constitutes in the abundance of what you do on a daily basis. So if your daily practice does not match the vision you want to live, review it and make the changes now. Now. So from do a time audit for a minimum 5 days of how you spend your time from wake up to your sleeping time and say that does this match the person that can house that vision, that can bed that vision? Because your life will actually translate at the end of the day to what you do on a daily basis.
Hmm. Hmm. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know what you just said, that statement you said just reminded me of a post I made some like weeks ago, earlier this year. When I watched my YouTube replay, my YouTube is it summary, and
Summary.
it told me that and it told me my personality type was self-improver. And I liked all the videos that I've been watching that, I'm someone that always want to improve myself. And I just felt it was just like, it was just, looking at my heart and just telling me all the videos, it analyzed all the videos I watch. And it was telling me, and it was so true. Like, I don't just go to YouTube, I just watch one random. I go with intention to watch. And whatever I'm watching has to add value to me. So every little step you take, you're becoming that woman.
Yeah.
Be deliberate about those steps. So the last question, and then we'll call it a day. I will give everybody 30 seconds to give us the answer. If you could leave every woman here with one charge. So you want to give us a charge. It could be a charge, it could be a warning, it could be a word of encouragement, it could be a promise, whatever it is. Just give us one word that we're going to leave here with and say that, okay, even if I didn't hear anything, I heard this word. So 30 seconds, give us one word to walk away with tonight. Okay, we can start from Coach Oluwaseyi for me again, since we just ended with you, and then we'll go, to Lady Pelumi and then to Lady Shirley.
Okay. I will say that my charge or it will be a reminder, not that you don't know it, but it's just a reminder to tell you that you are the woman for the job. You're the woman for the job. You are the woman for the job. You are the woman for the job. If you could not, and that's something you must understand about the vision, if you could not achieve it, it will never come to you. It would never. If you can't do something about it, it will not cross your mind. Why? Because you do not produce the ideas, you do not produce the vision. It comes from the one that knows. And the reason he is showing you is because you have the capacity. So you are the woman for the job. You are on a progression from you to you, but you are the woman for the job. Always remember that. So your job is to become the woman that can bet it. But you are already it. You just need to meet that version of you that can actually bet it.
Thank you. That was powerful. I am the woman. My responsibility is to become that person that can carry that vision. That was great. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, next person.
Yes, thank you, Coach Oluwaseyi, for me. So for me, I will read Joshua 1 verse 9 because that was exactly what dropped in my spirit when Dr. Joy said, what was the word? The charge. And that is, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. So whatever vision you have, it may seem really big. You may be like you are alone. It may seem like everything is not working out well just yet. But God is saying to you, have I not commanded you? Be strong and be courageous and do not be afraid. So go for it. Go for it. That's it. God is with you.
Yeah. I hope you're receiving some dose of like injection. We are injecting you with courage, injection. How many doses have you gotten now? Okay. Okay, thank you very much for that. Yeah, courage, courage, courage. Okay, so let's hear from you, Lady Shirley.
To build off of both of those, right? I am the woman for the job and I am courageous, and God is there walking beside each of us, guiding us, holding us, teaching us, showing us. The word that comes to my mind is community, that we are not alone, that when we are feeling down, when we are feeling like we're an imposter, when we're feeling confused and we want clarity, we ask for clarity. And we can pray, we can reach out to our sisters and brothers, our everybody around us. So long as we have built that network with intention to serve the purpose that we are charged with, but also we're charged with it to leave the legacy for others to come after. So community to help us be the role models for everyone around us and those to come after.
Community, that is so important. I feel like most of all that I do today would be impossible without community. Over and over, I see the impact of community in my life. I'm a product of communities. I am a product of communities. Okay, so I would thank you very much once again. Thank you, our panelists. I really appreciate you all. Thank you for your insights, wisdom, and experience. I would hand over to the moderator for tonight.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Joy. Thank you, Lady Oluwasheyefumi. Thank you, Coach Oluwapelumi. Thank you, Lady Michelle. This has been nothing but amazing. I should say, please rate it on a 1 to 10 scale. It shouldn't even be 1 to 10. It should be at this point. It's like 1,000 over 1,000. How has it been for everyone so far? I want to do a quick check-in. Let me see where people are at. I know for some of you that are on the East Coast, it's a little late, but please do not sleep. This time I need to see the fire. I see the fire emojis. Yes. The words of inspiration, there are a lot of insights, the charge that has been given. You know, you are the woman for the job. For the men on here, you're also the man for the job. God will not put the insights or the visions in you when He knows that you have the capacity to execute these things. You are also courageous too. God is always with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. My goodness. Should we stop at this point? Like, in all honesty, should we stop? I know we have to. I know we have to rest for the night. But also, like what Lady Michelle said too, we're not alone. You need community. Dr. Joyce said it so well. I'm also a product of community. VCAP, which is a Visionary Compass Accelerator Program, brought us together. And in that, I found beautiful sisters that I will cherish for the rest of my life. These are unforgettable memories that you can never take for granted. So you are not alone in this world. That's something that I want to encourage us all from all these sessions today. So once again, thank you so much to our speakers. Thank you so much to our coaches. Thank you, Pastor Laide, too, as well, for the charge at the beginning of the sessions. How is everyone feeling? Let me see. Let me see how everyone is feeling in the chat. Let me see. I see fire. I see courageous. I feel bold. I feel inspired. I feel energized. I feel like I just got the appetizer and now I'm waiting for the main course, which is going to be tomorrow. Yes. Yes. All right. Okay. Okay. So rejuvenated in the spirit. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Lady Michelle. Thank you, Coach Shay, for me. Fired up. That's how we all feel tonight. I'm inspired and encouraged to reach for more. Yes. Someone talked about shrinking. As ladies, as women of God, or just women in our own little zones, we tend to shrink. We tend to overthink things. But God is calling us that the vision that He's laid in your heart, He will guide you. He'll keep you. Why should you be afraid when He's already taking care of the birds? Lady Pelumi said it so well. So once again, I just want to applaud you all, to all the coaches that joined tonight, all the Pastor Pastor Lighted that joined tonight as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the insights, the workshop too as well. Thank you so much for everything, and you've been taking the time to just be with us. So I think, is there anything else I want to check in? Is there any housekeeping that we need to do for tomorrow before we round up for tonight?
I think so. Yeah.
Nope. Okay. Sounds good. So just
Well,
once again, thank everyone for joining today. Thank you all for taking the time to be here. I hope you were inspired. I hope you were energized. I hope you were rejuvenated. I hope you were refreshed. I hope these are words of wisdoms that you will take tonight if it's evening your time. Sleep on it, rest on it. Tomorrow we have another amazing session that is power packed that I am excited and I want to definitely see. So just to let you know in terms of the timing, I'm just quickly checking our schedule. So please be here. I believe it's the same Zoom link. Please log in tomorrow. We are starting tomorrow at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, which I believe is 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard
Eastern.
Time. Make sure the zone's right. Did I do good? Okay, I
Yeah.
think I did.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so please make sure you're able to join. Come in early, come in with your breakfast already in hand. We'll be having an exciting sessions and a group of, and also our graduates as well will be in the room. So we're excited to see them. And I just want to say thank you all again, once again, for joining. Do have a wonderful evening. Stay blessed, stay encouraged, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye. Nice job, everyone.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Great job. Thank you.